Hello, everybody. Here I am. It's me, Decayed Andy, and it's Big D. Hello, Big D.
Hey-o.
We're going to be talking about the Revenge of the Fallen toy line today. Ooh.
There may be some revenge here, because...
I've got some thoughts about it, because I was looking at... Well, obviously, this will be part one, because we're not going through the whole thing again, because there's fucking loads of toys. I am including the Human Alliance things in here, but I've never played with the Human Alliance figures. Have you played with them?
I don't think I have, no.
Okay. That's fine.
For either this or Dark of the Moon, to be honest.
I think, to be fair, they were better in Dark of the Moon from what they looked like, but we'll get to that. Me and Big D, this is pre-show, so it's not too intrinsic for the actual show, but me and Big D were talking about picking up Transformers 1 Sentinel Prime, because he's not cheapo, but he's like down by £4, which is UK price standards. It's like, oh, look at that price drop. That's 20% or something like that. So I'm thinking about maybe grabbing him.
I mean, 30, that's tempting. If he went down by another 5, then it'd be like, oh.
Yeah, because I know that, like, Modem Master, funnily enough, Vector Prime, I think you can get for like 20 quid now.
I know, I've seen that in some places. I mean, I don't regret buying him, but it does make... It's so frustrating nowadays, because you can never tell what's going to be good at discount.
No. I'm hoping the rest of the primes are gonna not do well, so I can pick them up cheapo. I didn't like Vector Prime until Saturday when I added the DNA kit to him, and now he actually looks really impressive.
It does add a lot to him, doesn't it?
Yeah, it makes it. You know how? Oh, here's a good example: Transformers 1 pre-cog and then post-cog. Vector Prime with DNA is post-cog. Without it, he's pre-cog with his baby shoulders.
I mean, it does make you wonder, because we've both bought the base figure and the upgrade kit.
Yeah.
Which the upgrade kit is like another 30 quid.
It's a lot.
We've spent basically 60, 70 quid on this one figure.
Yeah, it's best not to think about it. That's how you should look at DNA upgrade kits. Don't think about how much you had to pay. Just be happy with what you got. Otherwise, it'll make you sad.
I'm looking at my Titan's Return God Jinrai that has all the perfect effect upgrades applied to it. And I know for a fact I paid more for the upgrade than I paid for Jinrai and God Bomber individually.
Yeah. We are financially responsible adults.
Yeah.
You should be like us, chat, baby.
But no, my point was going to be, if Vector had been at a leader price point with Hasbro's version of this amount of stuff attached to him, would you have gone for him at that price point?
Leader price? I think if he was going to have to be leader price, I would be more pushing for him having a new mold rather than, a Jahaxis mold plus bits. But I get where you're coming from. I think it would have looked better. I think if we're living in this fictional universe, right? And we didn't know that he was going to be a Voyager, I would have been upset because I would have been like, it's just the Voyager, but with shit that they've stuck onto it. And I would have been annoyed by that. Obviously, the reason why DNA kits are expensive is because they're third party and they can effectively charge what they like. It's much smaller production run and all that jazz. So I'm like, okay.
The important thing about DNA is also they're cast plastic, very ABS plastic.
Yeah.
Although that's not uncommon nowadays in third party, it's still much more common to find stuff done in either filament or resin 3D printing.
Yeah.
Or resin cast even. And there's nothing wrong with either of those, but they have different purposes. But for plastic, it just feels nicer in hand,
Yeah, it feels more like it's complementary to the figure rather than, like you say, filament stuff.
And the problem then is that plastic costs more. It's for tooling, basically. That's end of the day. That's the reality of it. Tooling for plastic has always been more expensive than other materials, and you can't get around that, sadly. But I mean, I'm happy with Vector as he stands now. I'm looking forward to seeing what else they do.
What have you done with Vector Prime's spare translucent wings? Because I've got a fun play feature that you can do with them if you want to pretend.
I've seen some people use them on Primer as shields.
Okay.
On his arms because they fit on there. I've seen some people integrate them with Vector as well in different ways. Can't remember how they did that, but I have seen Vector with both sets of wings. Personally, at the moment they're in the box with all the other bits. But actually, no, tell they're in a bag with all the other bits Vector came with, which is right next to me. That's resting on top of some other stuff.
See, I pretend that they're doing a Gundam thing of in Gundam you had like remote bits that would fly around as shields or as weaponry systems.
Oh yes,
and they look quite good as like pretending that they're like shield bits or something like that, so they can defend against lasers.
Like he's got Gundam fin funnels.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So they would. So he's running towards them. They're shooting him, and these things are just like blocking the shots as he's going in for a stab. I think that's a fun way to pretend.
Yeah, that works. I mean, it's quite funny. I have this bag, and it's got 2 extra swords in it because you get 3 swords in the set.
To be fair, I think we only got those because they were the quote-unquote pre-order bonuses.
Yeah.
It's quite nice. You don't need that many swords, and he can't hold that many swords. But it's like, okay, fine.
But it's fun.
Yeah.
I have ordered some more extra stuff because I've got I ordered a recast of one of Dr. Wu's swords. I think it's their Skybreaker sword for Prima to replace his stock sword.
Oh, okay.
And I've got an Arakai Studios ABS head for Kingdom Rodimus coming.
Oh, wow, there's an old figure.
Well, it's just because I'm sick and tired of Rodimus looking old.
Old and sad.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I've heard good things about Arakai, so I thought I'd give him a shot.
Okay.
So, got those on the way. Which is fun.
Maybe I'll be silly when I go to Smith's and pick up Sentinel. Maybe I'll pick up one Constructicon along with him.
If they have them on the shelf.
Oh, they'll have them on the shelf. I've checked, and there are 2 Smiths reasonably close to each other, and either one will have Bone Crusher or Scrapper. To be fair. Yeah,
my Smiths is disappointing because every time I go on. I've tried it. In fact, yesterday I went on there and because they said Transformers are in stock, and okay, went there. Actually, no, you sent me the link. In fact, so I went on the site, went check stock at Swindon. Nothing. I checked everything. I think there's only like two figures with stock in Swindon.
Really? Is that actually true? Is that accurate? Would you say? Oh, because for mine, it's pretty accurate.
I don't know, but it's getting really annoying because so many figures I keep. But I'm kind of used to Swindon's always been this weird black hole for getting stuff. So
yeah, I'm pretty much in the range of 3 Smiths, so I'm usually pretty safe if I want to go for them. It's 20 minutes to get to 2 of them, or it's 20 minutes to get to one singular one on its own. So it's like I can either go for the double dip or I can go for the singular one just in case.
Well, for me it's odd because I can get to Swindon in 20 minutes, but every other Smith's. Bristol, Salisbury.
To be fair, that makes more sense to have them spread out like that than to have them so close to each other.
Oh yeah,
like mine.
Oh yeah. Don't get me wrong, but for the longest time, Swindon didn't have a Smiths.
Oh yeah.
So we were literally in this weird black hole where you could get decent stock levels everywhere around us, but not within
not the Bermuda Triangle of toys.
Yeah. And, I mean, I've gotten used to it because it's Swindon, so the joke's right itself.
Yeah. Well, should we start talking about some Transformers, Revenge of the Fallen?
We probably should, because I've had a look at the repaints, and there's a lot of repaints.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we can burn through the repaints, though. All right. I'll hit the music, and we'll go. Music time, baby!
Welcome to Moonbase 2.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Moonbase 2 podcast. My name is Andy, Decade Andy. I'm here with Big D once again. So what does that mean? There's very little news this week, right?
Yeah, it's a dry spell.
There's a bit, but I don't feel that there's enough for like a show where I just cover things on my own. So I'm like, yeah, bugger it. We'll talk about Revenge of the Fallen, the toy line.
Yeah.
Because the 07 movie was so successful, Hasbro got what I imagine was a huge influx of money and went, well, let's put that towards engineering, shall we? And they definitely put a lot of money towards it.
Oh my God, did they?
Yes, for better and or for worse in some aspects.
Yeah.
But what you can't say about this toy line is you can't say that they felt cheap. They never felt cheap.
No, absolutely not. It's a line that I've had a love-hate relationship over the years because like you say, nothing feels cheap, but some of it does feel overcomplicated and then they course-corrected badly afterwards.
Let me tell you the best aspect straight away. We'll hit this nail on the head straight away. What I think is the best aspect of the Revenge of the Fallen line are the scouts. The scout figures are all really good.
Yeah, it did have. I didn't dip into the scouts as much as I probably should have, but for ones I did get, and the ones I know I heard people talking about, all were pretty peak. And some of these I did end up picking up in the repaints.
Yeah.
So.
And you mentioned before we started the show, there are a few repaints. There's a couple.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, because these scouts couldn't have too many steps to them, you didn't have to worry about them being too complex. Some of them were very movie-esque, like the Red Baron. It's not his real name, but the Red Baron had a very movie look to him, but because he's such a unique toy, especially a unique Transformer, I still went, I don't care. I think it's pretty fucking cool.
Yeah.
You know?
And it's one of those things where that vibe actually works for what he is.
Yes.
So,
yeah, but we'll get to him because I know he's on this show. So we're starting off with, ironically, one of the scout figures that I didn't have, which was Beachcomber. I don't think this was the first version of the figure, to be honest, but we're starting off with him because, well, he was at the top of the list of the alphabet. So Beachcomber, he is a dune buggy, which you may or may not be shocked by. You will be shocked that it's Beachcomber that has two, not Gatling, well, I think they're Gatling guns.
They're Gatling guns, yeah.
Yeah, they're just 3-barreled Gatling guns, so they're much more weedy and lame than, like, when I think of a Gatling gun, I'm thinking of, like, a 9-barrel Gatling gun.
If you want me to be specific, they look like the triple-barrel Gatling gun off the old AH-1 Cobra series of choppers.
Well, there you go.
That's what. Look, in a former existence, I learned a lot about military hardware as a kid.
I thought you were going to say in a former life I was a spy.
No.
I was a military spy for the government, sent on secret missions.
You know what's funny? I actually did once look up the requirements for MI5 and MI6. No, I'm too tall.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm not average enough.
You could sue them for being heightist. I think you look like a normal person. You would blend into a crowd. Like, okay, you wouldn't blend into a crowd in Japan, but in the UK, you blend into a crowd.
Yeah.
It's the beard that would probably make people go, that's a bit more of a unique thing. Giant, hairy man walking down the street. Yes,
the fact that it's approaching Gandalf levels is not a good sign for him, is it?
Well, that would make you stand out a tad more. Beachcomber, though, interesting enough, he doesn't have side doors, but it doesn't look like they've sculpted seats in there. I don't think.
I think they've used some of the... They used his hands, basically, to mimic the effect of the interior, kind of.
And his knees, kind of a something. There are some other parts that have been folded up. It's not a super good, like, oh, that's definitely a seat and gear stick and steering wheel, but it's like faux. It's like, I guess, good enough. And hey, at least the front window screen of the vehicle mode isn't translucent and it is painted. That's nice, at least for this version of it.
And in fairness, this type of dune buggy often doesn't have doors.
No, I assume that was probably the case.
So, yeah.
At best, a dune buggy like this is a roll cage with wheels.
You know what? As repaints go, this is a great take on... I think I remember a lot of folks at the time, this was what... You... Actually, no, this was weird, because ironically, you did have a choice around this time. You had this one, and you had the
The Legends one? It was the Generations Legend one, which was very... Obviously, this was bigger than that. And more. This was an actual figure rather than the Legends, which is, the Legends are what they are.
A bit simpler. But it meant... It was weird because that meant you actually did have 2 options for Beachcomber.
Yeah.
The character that it actually does have a lot of fan goodwill towards. So but that's kind of cool.
You had 2 choices, but I don't think either of them were like a good choice. It's like you go to a restaurant and you ask for this one specific thing, and they've got you ask for lasagna, and they go, well, we've got ravioli, and it's like, well, that's not lasagna, and it's like, okay, well, we've got spaghetti and meatballs, and it's like, yeah, but that's not okay.
Yeah,
I don't want either of these, but I guess I'll have
close,
them.
But not quite.
Yeah, exactly. So, the head sculpt is close enough to Beachcomber, I suppose. Again, you look at it and you're like, eh. I like the gun placements. The machine guns have gone to his shoulders. I think that's quite good. Yeah. I'm not sure how stable that would be, but it looks nice at the very least. Decent looking figure, I'd say overall.
I mean, I've got the original version Dune Runner, and it's quite nice in hand.
Is Dune Runner the better version?
He fits better with the vibe because I've paired him up. I think in my collection he's paired up with the repaint of Voyager Sea Spray, and one of the other small dudes.
Yeah,
because they were all designed to fit into the cargo bay of. Not all at the same time, but one of them can fit into the cargo bay of the hovercraft mode.
Oh, okay.
So, and the colours work quite nicely with the dark green of I think was it Deep Six the name? I can't remember.
The boat one, the scout boat.
No, the hovercraft. When they repainted Sea Spray.
Oh, yeah, I don't remember his name. I only remember the repaint into Octopunch for Botcon.
Yeah, that was nice.
It's a weird one. I think the paint separation on Dune Runner is a little bit better because you can see the green of the mouth between the 2 bits of silver a little bit better, I feel. And I prefer the Fenrisian wolf grey on the arms, again, a little bit more than just a stock flat white. But in vehicle mode, he's just a little bit too flat green. I would have liked something a bit more to make him pop. Obviously, they got the tampos on the side of the door, and they've got a little bit of silver to try and break it up. But
a camo scheme would have been nice in some ways, but for this price point, the fact he's got tampos is a bit something. Of a
I think there was a better version. If we look through the other repaints, there was Crankstart, and also there was Sandstorm, which kind of makes sense. So Crankstart, being the Decepticon, went for brown hands, pea yellow, fluorescent yellow, and then dark Reaper gray, kind of blackish kind of color, with a silver head with red eyes, which, again, very nice and poppy. Because of the yellow pea line, across the vehicle mode, it adds a little bit, again, more something to the vehicle mode than it just being black or just being green or just being blue. So I might like this one a bit more.
It's striking. They get points for, and 2 colors on the gun. That's nice as well.
Yeah.
But the fact that they even attempted that yellow across black plastic.
Yeah.
You can see that it needed probably one more coat to just nail it, but still. Points for effort there, if nothing else. Cause...
That yellow always need. I always feel like when we talk about Transformers and they've used this yellow paint, it always needs like 1 or 2 more coats. Always, every single time it happens. I think my only complaint is for this, they didn't have enough budget, I'm guessing, to paint the engine block in the front, so they're just black plastic, which obviously you could touch up yourself if you really wanted to. It wouldn't be too traumatic or difficult, I don't think. But if we're talking about it, if we're just talking about it as a thing on its own, you look at it and you go, shit. You got the lines on, but what?
It is a nicely striking deco, though. It's one that you could see. He would fit in quite nicely amongst the Stunticon collection, for example.
I would say so,
especially with the back-mounted guns.
And Sandstorm is kind of an obvious choice, and they picked out the colors fairly well. They've gone for the bright orange and then the slightly more sandy, washed out. Oh, okay, so you got the pure orange, and then you've got what I would call the fruit pastel orange, the sweetie orange. This is the kind of gummy orange that you'd see for a sweetie that you put in your mouth and chew a lot, you know? For us, it would be a Chewit or a Roundtree's Fruit Pastel or a Starburst or something like that, English people. I don't know what the American equivalent would be, so that's on you to find out. And then, like I say, they got the nice poppy orange as well. The blech, they haven't painted the engine on him again. And the head sculpt doesn't really work for Sandstorm, but they have tried to paint it somewhat sandstormy, which is like the black helmet with the interior white face kind of thing. So it's like, okay.
I mean, you got to give them this. At least with Sandstorm and Beachcomber, they did try and make the paint jobs on the head match.
Yeah.
The versions of the character people would be familiar with in some way. So fair shout for that. And you know what? It's a decent figure, oodles of character, and 4 pretty decent paint schemes to pick from.
Yeah. And this would have only been, oh God, this would have probably only been like £8, I think, back in the day.
Something like that, yeah.
Because I don't think at this point Deluxes had crept up to £15, had they? I think we were still sitting around £12.
Still $12.99-ish,
yeah. So it's like, ooh, you were getting a lot for your money here, I think. Again, a mild negative. We do see the open hands again. We're still keeping those for some weird reason, but you know.
But at least in this case, he doesn't have anything he needs to be holding.
No.
It lessens the play pattern, but
it's fine.
Yeah.
Now, one of the most unique. Did you have this next one, Ejector?
I'll be honest, until I saw the link and the pictures, I had forgotten it even existed.
I hadn't, because I got this one specifically because I really liked it. Now, in the movie, he's dog shit. In the movie, he's really inconsequential and boring. Ejector, for those not aware, is the first and, as far as I know, only transforming toaster.
And doesn't he look angry about it?
Oh, he's fucking furious. He's an ugly little shit. But again, it's fairly accurate to how his appearance was in the movie. They're incredibly brief that it was. He has 4 sets of arms. He has a massive face in the center of his torso. And he just looks nice. The biggest complaint I have about him is in toaster mode. All of his toaster mode is painted silver. And you can see from the photo that they've used on TFU, this one's scuffed. Mine's gotten a bit scuffed as well, just because it's really easy to scuff this kind of metallic-y paint very, very easily. A nice thing is he has a little string and a plug socket attached to him, so he's got a little tail. Yeah, it's really nice. It's like, oh.
I'm looking at just how, kind of to think, I want a scene of him being driven insane by the talkie toaster from Red Dwarf.
Yes, I would have been so happy if there was a crossover. Would you like some toast? Yeah, he's got again, for his size class, pretty interesting transformation. You might be able to figure out how some of it works by looking at it, you know. His arms are the curved part of the toaster at the back. He's got a big back flap, which is the top of the toaster where the slices of bread go in, which you can't see on the front of the figure because it's on his back. And he's got chicken legs as well. He's got that kind of style of leg. So not the most posable figure, but again, he's a toaster. You don't often get transforming toasters. I don't know if we've had one since, to be honest. I think
look at that face. Look at that face.
Yeah.
Isn't it cute?
Yeah, he transforms not into a robot mode, but into a gremlin, effectively.
Yes.
I don't think he got a repaint, did he? No, he was only used the once in 2009. Goddamn, Big D. In 4 years' time, that figure will be 20 years old.
Yeah, I was most disheartened when I was looking at Facebook and Knowlesy posted up that it's almost 20 years since the first Bayverse film came out.
Yeah.
And I was like,
yeah. Because when Revenge of the Fallen came out, that was when I started becoming negative about movies. That was my first time when I came out of a cinema and was like, I don't think I liked that. And I don't know why.
Oh, I know exactly why. Because it was made during and after the writers' strike.
At the time, as a person coming out of the movies, I didn't know why I liked it. Because I was a kid who came out of X-Men The Last Stand, and my friend was fucking furious about it. Johnny did not like that movie, and I was like, it's all right. X-Men The Last Stand was fine, and he was like, it's fucking bullshit. It's all shit. And I was like, I don't get it. I thought it was okay. And then years later, Revenge of the Fallen comes out. Dave's like, oh, that was such a good movie, Andy. And I was like, what did you think of it, Andy? My reaction was, yeah. And I remember specifically because it was a midnight screening as well. I was just so confused. So baffled. But Ejector, not one to be confused about. Ejector's one that, if you haven't had, he's interesting enough as a unique concept to pick up. If you think if you like his visuals in robot mode, I'd say get him. If you think having a toaster is kind of a really cute, a unique thing, because being a Scout figure, he's a fucking tiny toaster, you know? He's a toaster that would be... Yeah, well, I was thinking he's a toasty... Have you seen those videos where, like, a man makes a meal for a hamster, but it's the size of a hamster? That's the kind of toaster the hamster would use. So, yeah, I'd say pick him up.
Or it could toast a single slice.
I don't even think... I think if it was going to toast a single slice, you'd need to cut it up into really small pieces and do multiple slices of it. That's how tiny he is.
Yeah, I'm just thinking. I was just thinking how legend size. Yeah, that's
even a quarter of a slice of bread, you need to cut up into smaller slices to because this is a 4-slot toaster. This is not your dad's toaster. This is the toaster of the future, but they're very small slices of toast.
No. This is the American toaster.
That's true. That's the future toaster. I'm a little sad that it wasn't painted in like. Oh god, it's not like baby blue, but it's like almost baby blue with a cyan. Is that the color? Do you remember the old like 70s refrigerators for America where there's like blue one and a red one and those ones? I think if they did a few of those colors, that would have been quite nice. Imagine you had like one in that kind of color scheme that had like maybe rusted paint on it and a weird logo that like it's a joke logo for a company that doesn't really exist. That'd be quite fun, like Burgers Industry, something like that.
It sounds like you want one of these as a crossover with Fallout.
Yeah, effectively, that could work quite well, to be honest. Paint him up like the Fallout suit, so he's blue and yellow, and give him the Fallout guy logo on the side. Yeah, that's a great idea, Big D.
Ooh,
that's a great idea. Yeah. It would require a lot of paint apps and tampos and shit, but that would be really fun. There's your crossover figure for a Fallout series, you know? If you wanted to do a Transformers X Fallout, there's one. I'm sure we could find some other weird, like, utensils that you could slap together with to make a full set. That could work. XL Head says there wasn't a bot toaster. I don't know, to be honest. There might have been a bot toaster, but I know so little about bots. I know there are things. This is more complex than a bot, though.
Oh, absolutely.
This has more going for it than a bot, I would argue. Bots? Yeah, bots. Not bots. So that's Ejector. We have one that I kept thinking to myself to get at the time, and it's Knockout. Not that one. Different one. He is a motorbike. Turns into quite a handsome motorbike, to be fair, with an interesting color scheme.
Nice little ninja motorbike, always fun.
Yeah. His robot mode, pretty interesting. He seems to be missing a hand, and both of his arms have hollowed out forearms, unfortunately, as well. It's a bit of a scuffy visual. He seems to have quite large, I was going to call them hip skirts, but they're not on his hips. They're more like shin skirts, I suppose, because they're hanging off the side of his skirt, off his shins.
He's got big shin guards.
Yeah, but they're off to the side. It's weird.
Yeah, because they're not. They don't look like they're actually mirrored. They look like they're slightly off in their angle, which I think is just a side effect of how he transforms.
Yeah, I think it's because they're probably on like ball joints and they've just slightly been tweaked off. But they look like they're high enough that they should be visually attached to the waist. Because they're so big. They go from his feet up to his waist. They're really big, so they're a bit obnoxious.
It would make more sense for them to look like hip skirts.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah,
and that could be quite fun as well to have.
But like you said, I think due to the transformation, it's probably just not viable, to be honest, which is, fair enough. I will say it's a bit surprising as well because he doesn't look like a Autobot, but he is an Autobot.
I was thinking that. He's got a very Decepticon color scheme and head design.
Yeah, the head does not scream hero.
New.
Screams a little bit Batman villain, I think. Some description of a Batman villain. Like if Firefly had that head design, I'd be like, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, Firefly or Kill 'Em Off or one of those.
Oh, yeah, Kill 'Em Off would work. Yeah. Interesting look.
Kill 'Em Off would totally wear these colors because that man has no sense of. Well, he fears no combination of colors.
I think this is a little bit more consistent color scheme than Moth would go for, right? Because Moth, what's Moth's color scheme like? Lime green, orange, and purple. Pinky purple.
It's a lot.
It's a lot.
Yeah.
This was redone into 3 other versions. Movie reverb, trench mouth. Oh God, that would be.
Oh.
Trench foot's pretty bad, but trench mouth. That's really bad. Your jaw would fall off.
It is a thing, though. Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. And backfire. So we'll have a look at reverb first. Reverb is the Decepticon in the Autobot color scheme, I would argue, as he's orange and blue. He actually looks a little bit like this color scheme, this orange and this blue combo. I think you said it last time, bit Go-Bot-y.
Yes, he's got a lot of GoBot to him, this one, doesn't he?
Yeah, they didn't paint the guns on his non-hand arm. It's a bit of a shame, but he does have a tampo on the front of his chest, which is a 2 and a 6, to make him a bit more of a sporty bike. So no Decepticon insignia either, I don't think. At least not on the front of him. It's on the side bike parts, I suppose, but that's about it. But he does have again a 9. Oh, it's a 9 and a 7. My bad. And then he's got a 9 and a 7 on his bottom of his bike mode as well. Do you like this one more or less? I think I might get a little bit less than the last one.
It's weird. The colors. I do like the colors, but not as much as I do on Knockout, sadly. The head sculpt's doing it for me a bit better, though, because I like how they've got silver for the mask detail, which gives it a bit of a Kamen Rider / Super Sentai vibe.
I can see that. Do you think the colors don't work as well due to the gray or the brown? Because I think it's either of those two colors that are not pulling it together.
I think it might be the gray, because the brown's a very rich, dark, almost ruddy shade of brown, which I think works with this particular color combination. I think it's the gray that's not pulling it together.
Yeah, because there's a decent amount, because it's on his thighs, his groin, his biceps, and then the joints that his shoulders are attached to in the wheels. So there's a decent amount of it. Maybe a little too much, but you just look at it and you're like, I don't think it would have helped if they were blue, though. I don't think it would have looked better if those bits were blue. I don't know what color you could have thrown on there. Maybe black?
Yeah, because the reason I've gone for the brown is to get the effect of the leather on the bike seat.
Yeah, which makes sense. That's black, fair enough.
Maybe could have worked.
That's what I'm thinking, because like black's a safe color usually to go for.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think you could have done that blue. I don't think it would have pulled in the rest of the colors, but so that's one of them. There's also Trenchmouth. I look forward to seeing how Trenchmouth turns out. Trenchmouth is brown and red. So he's what's his name from Galaxy Force, the little red bike dude. Ransack? Is that his name?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's it.
It's the Ransack color scheme, basically. They did paint the gun on his hand this time. There's a lot of that gray in the exact same places it was before. And because the last one was orange and this one is red, this one's really similar to the last one.
I'm getting a feeling here that the frame was like a set color almost, that they couldn't, or they weren't able to change it. They could only change the other elements.
I wonder.
Sounds really weird, but especially weird as these are both Decepticons who both are effectively red/orange.
Yeah.
They just have, it's just the way they've been applied that differs.
Yeah. This one doesn't have blue. It has the burgundy kind of knockout burgundy brownish color on him, which
can work, but it's not been applied very. I don't know if it's just this example, but on the face it's very messy.
Yeah,
and also you can see that on other parts it's not a particularly clean application.
No, I think again this is like it needed another coat. I just don't think. I think when you said it's just not being put in the right spots, I agree. Especially when you look in bike mode, it's just in these little lines here and there, and you're like, doesn't have that wow factor, you know? I don't think.
There's a lot of it along seam lines where there's nothing actually in the seam as well, so that.
Yeah, and they haven't painted on the inside of the seam, so you can see the red poking through too, which is really off-putting. It's like, I think this one's a lot less interesting than the previous one, Reverb. It's the least interesting version of the mold so far. And then Backfire is the last one. Oh, Backfire is pretty good. I like Backfire.
He is.
Backfire might be my favorite robot, at least. I'm not sure about the bike. Bike's a little ugly.
You know, he's basically a color scheme of that repaint they did of Cybertron Hotshot as Getaway.
Kind of. Yeah.
Yeah, that same for whites with that matte reddish orange with that very dark blue. It all works quite nicely for him, and the fact that the fairing for the wheels, the actual the frame of the tires are resting on, the fact that's been coloured as well, that's making a lot of difference to the alt mode.
Yeah, imagine Big D if the thighs and the biceps and the wheel bits were grey again.
Yeah.
It would look dog shit, but they've coloured them black, and it's done what we said for the other ones, and it's kind of brought in the colours and nicely tidied them out. I like the fact that he's got the white mask, and then he's got like blue eyes and then silver detailing. It's like, it's nice.
That's nice, yeah.
Like I say, I don't think it works. I don't think it's bad for the bike mode, but I don't like the colour placement on the, I don't know, what do you call these side bits? The bits that were on the shins. They're on the side of the bike. Yeah, the side panels. I don't think that looks great, the way that they've got the color there. I don't know, what you should do with it. But I don't think it looks... Again, doesn't look terrible in bike mode, but I don't love it in bike mode either.
Yeah, it's just the nature of this sort of application, because I don't think they're able really to do it around the edge on... When you see a real bike, often the paint is applied around the curves of the panels, so it's much cleaner and it feels more... All the panels are just... It's not as obvious. Because of the differences of toy material, it just... Yeah, there's no easy answer to it, to be honest.
No, I don't think so. But I picked this one up just purely on the robot version of him. Just going, that's good. I think for me it's between him and Knockout. Knockout? Yeah, Knockout. Between him and Knockout, I think are the two stand out.
I'll probably get this guy for the bot mode, Knockout for the alt mode.
Yeah, I think that'd be okay. Yeah. They look quite nice next to each other. And they're both being Autobots. The two Autobot ones look better than the two Decepticon ones by leaps and bounds, I'd say.
But and the Autobot ones don't look like fair.
Yeah, they haven't just made this guy, I don't know, grey with dark green, which would have been the same kind of equivalent. So Backfire, not bad. Here it is, Dive Bomb, the Red Baron. So I have this figure so I can talk about him. He has a very skeletal body because he turns into a biplane. And again, I'd say this is worth getting within some reason, just because he's a unique transformer, because you don't really get a lot of biplanes, and you don't get them at this scale.
No.
We have had a couple, right? Because there was another one or two for the movie line, right? Or am I misremembering?
They had this guy's original paint scheme.
Yes.
This is for repaint.
That's right.
So that's 2. And there was no,
I think,
looks like it.
Have we never had another one? Maybe not biplane, but I think I'm mixing up planes that have rotor blades on the front of them.
Yeah,
like tubes.
we had Highbrow that got in.
Oh, movie Highbrow, you mean?
Yeah,
that's yes.
He was a Lightning, I want to say. That dual cockpit type fighter. He was actually a fun figure in his own right. I'm looking forward to when we get to talk about him. But and he and the dive bomb design were basically riffing off what they did with Jetfire in the film, have him hiding out of the Smithsonian. So that was a cute little idea they ran with, only for 2 extra figures, but
something.
But and like you say, how often do we see a biplane? I mean, we're still, even now, with them doing Hearts of Steel, we're still not getting a Starscream yet.
No, it's Starscream is coming out.
Oh, did they say he was he? I
wasn't sure. It's Megatron, Optimus Prime, Starscream, and Bumblebee. I can't remember what the 2 packs are.
Oh no, yes, that's right. Because it's Prime and Starscream, Megatron, and Bumblebee. Duh. Sorry, that's me.
No, that's fine. Yeah, no. I make mistakes a lot as well, so it's fine.
But it took us nearly, like you just said, nearly 20 years to get another biplane.
Yeah,
and it's not even a real biplane; it's a steampunk made-up one.
It's the closest you'll get, so you'll be fucking happy about it, mate. That's what you'll get.
Yeah.
Vehicle mode wise, I always thought it was weird that on one side of the wings he had a machine gun, and on the other he had missiles. Because in my mind, when I think of this plane, I think of like the Indiana Jones version, where Sean Connery's in the back with the machine gun. That's where the machine gun goes, not on the side of a wing. And again, it just kind of offsets it a little bit, because you have bombs on one side, you have bombs on the other side, machine gun on one side, machine gun on the other side.
What if the machine gun normally is actually set above the engine, firing through the prop?
That makes sense.
This sort of biplane, they did have bombs, although it was much more common for either the pilot or the observer in the back to just lob grenades out the back of it.
Yeah.
And when I say grenades, often we're talking light stick of dynamite, drop and pray you're far enough away before it blows up. And it doesn't shred your plane. Because these things had no armor. They were literally canvas planes for the most part. So, yeah, I get what you're saying, though. It's fun, though. And doing a Red Baron repaint is obvious, and
it's a wise idea. So it's a smart idea to make it, again, interesting. The robot mode suffers a little bit just because of how thin everything is. It does make him very skeletal. I have no idea in these images why they decided to put the wheels of the plane at the angle that they have. Because they've basically the wheels are on the side of his stomach basically, and they've raised them outwards horizontally, and it makes him look weird. They should have just kept them nice and tight to the body. It doesn't make any sense to me.
Is that how it's supposed to go in instruction, or is that just something the guy who photographed it has done?
I think it's just something they've done, because either you push them up more, so they're kind of at a triangle, kind of V-shape angle going downwards, or you put them down closer to the legs, and I can't remember which way it is off the top of my head.
I mean, I don't think they'll go any further up.
I can't remember if they do or not, to be honest.
But down would make more sense, because they basically act like hip skirts.
Yeah.
So
his hips are very close together as well, because, that's got to compress down, or the part's got to compress into the tail fin. And he's got big long arms, because they're where the weapons are kept, which go under the plane. I do like how the wings kind of come together and form a little cape at the back. That's quite cute. And then the underside of the wings kind of make, again, almost a Dracula kind of collar, back collar around the side of his back and neck, which is quite nice.
It's a design with a lot of flair to it.
Yes, he does have an engine hat, though. If you don't like the engine hat design, you won't like it. I'm trying to think. Does his if you look at the mug shot where it's just a close up of his face, I don't know why, but it reminds me of. Do you remember the old robot guy from Reboot? I don't know his name though. Do you know who I mean?
I do. I can't remember his name either.
Yeah, it's the old robot guy from Reboot. Type that into Google, maybe it'll pop up. There's something about the shape of Dive Bomb's face, this mold's face, that makes me think of that, and then you give him a little hat on.
I do find it hilarious, though, how this picture, the face is in focus, and in the repaints mugshot, it's the engine that's in focus, and the face is completely
out really?
of focus. Yeah.
Oh my god, yeah, it is. Oh, Jesus. So clearly they did Ransack first, which is the repaint's name, and then they did Dive Bomb next. So the question I have for you, Big D, is which do you prefer? Do you prefer Dive Bomb or do you prefer Ransack in terms of colors? Because although I don't have him, I think Ransack's is better because it's more visually interesting because he's not just red, which is the problem with the Red Barons. He's just red. Ransack is tan green kind of color, brown, gray, and then a more army green kind of color, which you would think wouldn't work, but somehow kind of does.
It all just comes together on him, doesn't it?
Kind of, yeah.
And I'd agree with that. I think Ransack is more successful. Don't get me wrong, Dive Bomb is fun and looks good. But between the two, this one, the robot mode is special. I mean, don't get me wrong, I like the alt mode for this guy as well.
Yes.
But the robot mode,
it's more interesting
because it's not just for one. And Dive Bomb's not a single color, but there's so much red on him that it just overpowers everything else, and it's very hard to make anything else out of it.
Yeah, so I agree. But again, chat, this is one, or people listening at home, this is one that I would say get because it's interesting and kind of unique, and it's a transformation that you haven't done before, generally speaking. Granted, I don't know how QC is over the nearly 20 years old figure this is now, but again,
I'd be worried about those arms after this long.
Sadly. I haven't fiddled with me for a while, so.
But then the materials they used on the ROTF toys were actually really good overall.
Chat Excel Hedge and Simon Tang said the name is Fong. Are we talking about the name of the plane figure?
Yeah, it's
Reboot. Oh, thank you, Dr. Fong. Yeah, I wouldn't have remembered. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, Dr. Fong.
My brain was thinking, I'm sure it's a name that sounds Asian, but I don't want to say something which sounds really. So, guys, thank you for taking that bullet. Much appreciated.
Oh no. So you only got 2 repaints. That's it. Again, this is a really interesting, fun little robot mode and figure. Another one that I never got, but I did consider getting for a while, and has pretty interesting hands, which is not something you usually say about movie figures. Depth Charge. She turns into a. I'm sure Big D knows what kind of boat this is, if it's even a real boat, but he turns into a boat.
Yeah, I think it's supposed to be a recon destroyer.
Yes.
And I do have this figure, but I can never transform because I got without instructions, and the legs make me scared.
To me, Big D, this reminds me of a boat from Total Annihilation, if you remember that game.
Oh, absolutely.
Yes, It reminds me of one of those kind of boats. I will say he doesn't really come in what I'd consider like boat colors. Like he's gray boat color, which is like, that makes sense. But then he's got the much lighter gray for like camo. And I don't know if does that work? Does that camo work in the sea?
Yeah. They've been doing that since World War One, I think.
I've only ever seen like military boats in like gray though. That's why it kind of threw me off a bit.
It was much more common in, like, especially World War II. The German Navy especially used a lot of it.
Oh, okay.
But the idea is it breaks up the boat's silhouette against the horizon.
So when it shimmers, it shimmers less coherently.
Or it helps it blend in better with the reflection of the sky on the sea surface.
Okay.
There's loads of different. Some of these camos are much more jagged, and they break the silhouette of the boat up a lot more than this does.
Yeah.
But you do see stuff like this on, especially like Nordic navies, anywhere, and actually on amphibious craft as well. It's quite common camouflages like this.
But in terms of the figure, you said this was quite a fiddly figure to transform. Looking at the legs, they are interesting legs because his feet are just the boat, and his feet come up to his hips, basically.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, my one, I got him from a boot sale, so I had no instructions and big, chunky man fingers with small, fiddly Legends figure. Not always a good combination. I reached a point where I was like, I'm going to put him down and get him back to a boat so he's safe.
Right. Do you remember any other feelings of him when you had him, apart from, man, this is fiddly?
I mean, in fairness, the joints that I was able to get transformed felt really good. The hands were nice. The head sculpt is wonderfully full of character. And I've always dug how the engine pod on his back rotate to become missile pods.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
See, but basically, he's like a jet-powered hydrofoil destroyer. He's not a small boat. That's the thing. So that's kind of the sort of thing that's wonderfully loopy and very G.I. Joe, which is kind of my jam.
Okay. I will say I like the fact that when he transforms as well, all of the black is revealed to make him a bit more interesting visually to look at than just the standard boat.
Yeah, I mean, there's obviously when you turn it upside down, you can see a lot of black, but no one's going to turn upside down.
I mean, if you complain about that, you have to complain about every fucking car figure you have. It's not. I think it's more fair to complain about plane transformers when you do that, because you're meant to have them up in the air and swoosh them around, right? With a car, you just drive them on the ground. You're not going to be swooshing them, theoretically. And it's the same for a boat.
I mean, for one thing, all boat formers are missing about a third of the hull anyway.
Oh, yeah. I mean, the bit that goes under the water, right?
Yeah. But he's cute. I mean, the attack mode's fun because idea is he's supposed to be sort of skating along the water with the two halves of his hull.
Oh, that looks weird.
Which is very silly, but very fun, and again, scratches that G.I. Joe itch in the back of my head.
Because of the angle they've put his legs at, he almost looks like a tripod kind of alien creature at this point, which, I mean, technically he is. So, an interesting one.
Yeah, he's very interesting. And again, it's one that if you get a chance to pick one up, and it's not stupid money, so I'd say anything under 20 quid. Preferably under a tenner, but given it's almost a 20-year-old figure.
What do you think about Sonar, then? The repaint.
Oh, he's sinister.
Yeah. A black boat that reveals very, very dark Cantor blue, almost, I think. Or something like that. Is it Cantor blue? It's either Cantor or McCrag blue, something like that.
It's Cantor blue. McCrag's much
bluer.
McCrag blue is literally ultramarine blue.
Yeah, that's right.
That's what the color is called outside of 40k. So.
Ironically.
Yeah. But no, the boat is a lot plainer, but that makes it, just having that single strip of red for windows makes it incredibly sinister, which I dig.
But
I think they might...
Bit boring, like you say.
A little boring, but then because they've basically inverted the color scheme, so you have all that blue coming out from underneath the armor panels, that kind of works. I dig that. It's a very Decepticon color scheme in its layout and its tones, but it actually does work really nicely.
It's weird that they've camoed his head in robot mode.
It is a little bit. It does feel like, well, we got some silver paint to use, lads. Anywhere we can put some. It's like, well, you put some in his head. Well, we only got this much paint.
Camo.
Someone find me a camo pattern.
Yeah, it is odd because I don't know why it would just be your head, and it would be camoed like this. It didn't look bad. It's an odd choice, I guess, is what I'm getting at. It's like, why? Yeah. Why? I think I would have liked it if the blue had been camoed up with black splodges as well, just to kind of maybe pull it in together, I suppose.
Just to tie everything together a bit better.
Yeah, maybe that would have been too much black though if they'd done that. I don't know.
I mean, if that crest on the head had just been left black, that could have worked. That would have worked as well. So
yeah, no one would have complained.
It is odd that they just felt the need to apply silver to the head in that way.
I think if they'd applied that silver to bits of the boat, like not all over the boat, but just like on key points to like highlight certain aspects of the boat, that might have been a bit better.
Yeah,
or something.
I can see it.
Or maybe not silver, maybe just more bits of red, just splodges here and there, like on the little square parts on the side, the little not hexagon but almost hexagon just below the windows. There's a few of the windows near the back you could have spruced up, or maybe the fin bits, I guess, right on the back of the boat. A bit more red might have been nice.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Something to.
Yeah. Next up is Deadlift. This isn't the first version of this figure, I don't think. I think this was the second. Again, a figure that is maybe worth picking up for the interesting nature of what it is. It's basically Scoops. GoBot Scoops. What was GoBot Scoops? GoBot Scoops was a forklift truck.
It's so rare to find a forklift truck in any transforming toy line.
Yeah.
But it's always fun when it happens because you can never guarantee what they're going to do to make it work, and this does work really nicely.
It's not bad. He has closed fists, which is nice for a movie figure to see. And he basically has giant tonfas on the undersides of his arms, which, granted, off-center his center of balance, I would imagine, a little bit, but you can just use them as propping up sticks.
Yeah.
Or if you wanted to be mean, you could say he's like Timmy from South Park, and, he can't use his legs. Maybe you could say that. Bumblebee never got his voice fixed. Maybe this guy never got his legs fixed.
Yes, the Transformers version of hyper dexterity, hyper mobility in the limbs?
Exactly, yeah. That'd be an interesting idea for a Transformer. Repair his legs. Nah, he's fine. He's got sticks. He can transform to a pickup truck. Sorry, a forklift. Sorry, an evil forklift. He's a Decepticon forklift.
Oh yeah, both versions are a Decepticon. Huh.
Are they both Decepticons?
Yeah.
Dirt Boss. Yeah, Dirt Boss is a Decepticon too. What the fuck?
Yeah.
Clearly, these forklifts work for Amazon. That's so weird. Why are they both Decepticons? Is Manuel Label evil?
I don't know what it is about the head sculpt, but it reads like very angry / perturbed. Why are you bothering me, worker?
Yeah, there are bits around, like just under the orange nose, and the way that they've done these lines around the eyes that make him look really old as well. If I was to get how old in human years would you think this guy is? Because from the looks of him, I'd say like 60. Like he looks like a 60-year-old kind of robot.
Oh yeah, this is someone who's either pushing retirement or is retired and now needs something to do in his spare time.
Yeah, he needs to go back to work either because his wife is fucking sick of him or he needs drug money or something. I never had this guy, but I think his forklift truck mode looks really good. It's got a steering wheel. It's got a proper seat. It looks like there are faux doors on the side, which obviously don't open, but they're there.
It's a nice touch.
I wonder, because I don't know, because I never had this. I think the forklift fork moves up and down. It looks like it does.
I think it does as well. It's just on a slide rail, but I think it does move.
Yeah, and that's it. It only needs to be on a slide rail. It doesn't need to be anything fancy.
The annoying thing is that I can't remember now if I actually have this or not, because I think I have Dirt Boss.
Do you still have him?
I think I do, but I can't remember where.
I think the other one's better. Dirt Boss being in Constructicon green is weird.
And he's a bit plain.
He, like, robot mode, is okay. I know he shouldn't have it, but he's crying out for purple.
He really is.
Just in places, like the arms especially, the thighs maybe should be purple as well. Just needs something a bit more than grey to break it up.
And it doesn't help that some of the paint feels very... Whereas on the other guy for paint, where it was a bit spotty, it kind of worked.
Yeah.
But here, it doesn't. It really doesn't.
No, something a little bit off about it. Again, I don't think it looks bad. If I was going to get one, I wouldn't be begrudged to have this. And we can see why where Derek J. White got the idea for Dirt Boss. Is that what his name was in animated? Dirt Boss? The one that was the headmaster? I think it was.
I'm sure I remember now.
I'm pretty sure it was Dirt Boss. I'm pretty sure it was a forklift as well. So I think it was a reference to this guy. Yeah, I do prefer Deadlift. I wonder if it's worth checking for. I wonder if it's worth checking eBay for Deadlift later tonight. Big D, have a quick search for me, would you? Since if I look, it'll take me other places. Just out of interest, Deadlift or Dirt Boss from 2009, I guess. Excuse me. As I move on to Dead End, not Dirt Boss, not Deadlift. Dead End, another scout figure.
Well, Dirt Boss can be yours for 18 quid, including postage.
18's a lot for a scout figure.
He is, and that's not even mint on card.
No.
Deadlift does not come up.
Oh, that'd be the one that people want.
Yeah.
XL Hedge says, "Is this why we got animated Dirt Boss?" I think so. Like I say, XL Hedge, I think it's literally the reason he exists.
That seems like a safe bet.
Yeah, Dead End is a pretty funky, futury kind of car. Red, has an owl-styled robot head, a very big, open, clawish, fingery, touchy hands, very skinny legs. This one, out of most of them, is more movie-esque, let's say, than the other ones, I'd say, in terms of its appendages at the very least.
He does look like he's going to try and throttle someone, doesn't he?
A little bit.
Yeah.
There are aspects I like about it. Like I like the big shoulder pads being the wheels and look like they're almost like turbines he can use to fly around with. I like the chest. I like the head design. I really hate the legs and the feet because they're really thin, and they try and fill out the legs with the back wheels, but they're only around like the ankle and the shin. So it leaves the thighs looking incredibly slender.
Yeah, it's a shame because, like you say, he's got a lot to love.
Yeah,
but those legs, he did skip out on leg day, didn't he?
A little bit. And is it me, or does it look like the ball joint specifically for his hands look like the actual ball joint is going to come out at any second if you... Especially on, like, if you're looking at the right-hand side of the picture, if you press that hand down, that ball joint looks like it's just going to pop out without any force at all.
Yeah, that's quite a shallow socket in there.
Yeah.
And in fact, I think on one of them, you can actually see the plastic's actually split in... Because of where the pin is, that's a very thin amount of plastic. I've seen that on some figures of my own where that's happened. Pin and the ball socket are so thin between them. Yeah.
What could go wrong?
And it's a shame because I don't think that's, but the hands actually do have a hole in the middle.
Oh yeah,
I think it's a 3mm port.
Oh, that could be quite interesting.
So he can hold stuff in a very weird way, but he can hold stuff. But
yeah,
like you say, those wrists are very. I get why the way they are, but because that pin has taken away so much material, it makes the joint just not great, sadly.
Just a little off. And in terms of repaints, he got done into Nightbeat and Slapdash. So Nightbeat is almost Nightbeat colors, but then someone kind of forgot some of Nightbeat's colors because he is the baby blue, which Nightbeat kind of is. He's not exactly baby blue, but then obviously Nightbeat's meant to be yellow, and we've got...
Bone.
Yeah, yeah.
Ancient bone.
Ancient bone's a good way to describe it because it's definitely not yellow and it's not toffee either.
And it's a shame because if they'd used that yellow they've got on the paint on the car mode, that could have worked quite nicely for the interior.
Surely that has to have been the yellow that they were going for, but then fucked up somehow. I don't know how you fuck it up, but I'm not sure. I don't even think it would have helped the toy because I think even with bright yellow arms, the placement of where this ancient bone, like you said, color is, it's not in a great place. There's also a lot of the flat gray again, which is never good.
Is that I actually like that gray for how it's been used on the head sculpt.
The head looks fine. I agree. Yes.
Yeah.
I don't like it on the groin. I don't like it on the lower shins. I don't like it around the the shoulder joints. I don't like them in those places. I think they look a bit poo there. But nope, the head, 100% agree with you there. And the car mode looks okay. Looks fine.
Sorry, I've just realised that his shoulders are actually the back of the car.
Oh, yeah.
His ankles are the front. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh,
that makes sense.
One. Kind of a reverse Bumblebee.
And then Slapdash. Did you like Nightbeat? I didn't like Nightbeat. I didn't think he was very good.
There's bits of him I like, but it just...
Next up, we got Shit Piece, which is definitely not Goldbug. Definitely not Goldbug.
I thought they were trying for wheelie, to be honest.
I don't think like his thighs are wheelie color, but I think that's literally the only bit of wheelie orange. Oh no, I don't know. Like the left hand side of the image, his left hand shoulder looks like they're the same color as his thighs. Then his right hand doesn't, and his shins don't. And I think they're meant to be the same plastic. So maybe it's the lighting that's kind of thrown off some of the colors.
Yeah, it's still some weird... What is it with Hasbro and this grey, though?
Yeah, Hasbro loved this grey. They fucking loved it. No one did. This was I'm sure this was a meme. Maybe this was where the meme started for Hasbro grey plastic. But they used it way too fucking much. And it ruins some quite nice colors. In car mode, I think he's a really nice kind of caramelly, this toy's going to explode kind of gold plasticky looking syndrome. I don't know if it is, but that kind of color.
Well, it's not actually gold plastic, which helps. It just
it looks like it's that kind of color, right?
Yeah, it's not got any metallic in it. It's just a toffee color, which on one hand is great because it does mean there's probably a bunch of collectors who have one in the collection. They're terrified to touch it because their mind just reads it as being metallic because it's toffee, and their brain's just been Pavloved into thinking of that color being explodium. But I do. The thing is, it's a nice alt mode anyway.
Yeah,
100%. This sculpt has a really nice alt mode. It's a fun sci-fi looking sports car. It's like a hypercar that's been kind of smushed in different bits in the old CAD machine to get some weird bulges going on. But
it's one of those vehicles where you're like, I would, if I was a kid of a certain demographic, I would be like, give me a Micro Machine of this or give me a Hot Wheels of this, because these are the kind of fun, cool cars that you got from Hot Wheels and Micro Machines.
Absolutely.
Those weird ones. He could have also been a really good Micromaster. Oh, the Micromaster he looks like to me. He's the yellow Decepticon one from the sports car team.
Yep.
Whatever that car is, he's that one.
Yeah. Again, it's a. I don't think any of the alt modes have been bad for any of these three.
No. It's usually the robot mode, I think.
I will say though, as much as I don't like the legs, the head sculpt does a lot for all of these to redeem it. Because I do like the head sculpt.
It's really unique.
Nightbeat has more interesting paint scheme. I think Slapdash probably has more cohesive color scheme, even though the grey lets it down.
Sure.
And you're not sure what's going on. But was it Dead End the first?
Yes, Dead End. Yeah.
He's a really nice, fun, vibrant goon who's coming out of left field to murk you suddenly in the dark. So They all have something about them that I think is quite nice, even if it's not entirely my bag. So
I think that's fair.
Yeah.
Next up, we have one that I do have, which is Breakdown. I think this was like one of the first breakdowns we'd had in a long time, and I think people really wanted it.
Yeah. I don't think we'd had a breakdown
since G1.
That was so clear. I mean, there'd been a breakdown in Cybertron, but he wasn't.
Oh, he wasn't this.
No,
he was a retake on it, right? It was just a namesake kind of thing, right?
Yeah, this is very clearly G1 breakdown movie-fied. And God, is it fun.
I really like the new head. I think that's the best aspect of this figure. The new head design's really cool. And again, it's not too movie. It's not like you look at it and it's just a mess. But it's very intimidating. It's a really mean-looking head sculpt.
Yeah,
Robot mode.
It's just for right side of movie, to be honest.
Robot mode, he's almost good. His arms are very lanky, though. Very long, very lanky. He has open hands, but they're not like weirdly shaped. I think they're more normal hands. They're just in a kind of relaxed pose. And the legs are kind of interesting because he's got very tiny toes. He's basically the feet specifically. I think about him in high heel shoes because he's got his toes on the ground, and then the front of the car is like the bottom of that is like the back of the high heel. So he doesn't have a lot of foot coverage, but it's kind of interesting as well at the same time.
Yeah, it's interesting, and it kind of works for this figure. So how did it start? Was it particularly stable?
Yeah, it was fairly decent just because, I mean, he wouldn't, because he didn't have much ankle rotation or ankle tilt or anything like that, he would be still only able to do certain poses and stuff like that. But it's not like he would just fall over with no reason to it, from what I remember. Oddly enough, I think because of the shape of him, this would have made a decent barricade redo, even though it's not the exact right car mode, it's not the exact right shape. I think the robot mode could have carried that off.
Barricade colors on this would
Yeah. And it had an interesting thing where, can you see behind his head, he's got this pin?
Yes.
That's for rotating the front windscreen. So if you look at the car mode, that windscreen kind of spins around and points upwards.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, and again, it's not like a crazy transformation or anything, but it's a really nice, consistent, cool, sleek car mode. And a kind of interesting little robot mode. Again, not crazy amazing, but you go, oh, yeah. It's fun little, quick, solid dude.
Yeah.
It's just a shame
they clearly a Lambo.
It's just a shame that they didn't do any of the other Stunticons for this movie line in this style of this scale.
But for the longest time, that's what they did. They
did random shit.
They did members of the team in odd lines, and there was no consistency whatsoever. Yeah,
because you could put this guy with the drag strip from the mail away Hasbro Online Generations figure,
the Classics repaint. Yeah. You've got the Prime Dead End.
Oh yeah, the weird one that doesn't have the right color scheme.
Yeah. or you can just go with the Dead End that they did for this instead.
Yeah.
We'll get to in a bit. Don't worry.
Yes, yeah, because there's Oil Pan and Generations Dead End as well. That's right.
Yeah. Oh God, it's so silly. It's wonderful, but it's so silly that they skirted around it for so long.
Yeah. Now, Oil Pan is a pretty decent repaint, and I think it's held together with the fact that they didn't use gray plastic. They've used they've used the gray that an inner frame of a Masterpiece Gundam would use. They've used that color gray.
They've used that nice darker gray. It's not that light Hasbro gray. It's
which is shocking because they easily could have done, and I think they would have done. I don't know why they didn't, but I'm really glad they didn't, because this orange and this color works really nicely off each other, and then the bright white painted face, which is again really fucking sinister looking, looks good.
Yeah.
And you said this is a Lambo?
Yeah.
Lambo in orange with a white stripe on the door frame? Yeah. Looks pretty good. Looks pretty nice.
You know what? As much as I miss the paint on the bonnet that Breakdown had,
yes,
that stripe And I know we're being consistent because you can still see the gap in the plastic where they're not painted inside it, but that's still just it's all it needed. It doesn't need anything more than that.
Yeah. If you wanted, maybe you could paint the clearly big gap on the front of the hood with a bit of black or maybe a bit of silver. Maybe that would add a bit more something and it'd be reasonably easy to do, but you don't need it. I think it looks nice on its own. And again, the robot mode, really good, I think, color-wise. Maybe better than Breakdown. Maybe.
Actually, you know what these guys would be great for? If you wanted your collection to have some, do you remember Machination from the IDW stuff?
Oh, yes.
Fleet of Sunstreaker clones.
That's right. Yeah.
If you wanted to replicate that, just get a bunch of these guys.
This would work as kind of like mass goon, I think, quite nicely. Yeah. I don't know why, but orange is a good goon color potentially. And then the Dead End. I've never seen this one. I didn't know this was a thing. This looks pretty good as well.
Yeah. We're free for free here, folks, on really nice repaint.
Yeah, well, I think this is the first time. Usually there's a color scheme where you're like, all of them don't look great. This is the first time where I think they're all bangers. They're all good.
Yeah. That's pretty astonishing.
Yeah, and the car mode, again, looks really good. It's got the red rim around the front of the car, which you wouldn't expect, and it's on the side of the car as well. It's like, damn, okay.
Absolutely.
And the lights are painted as well. It's like, oh, all right, well, shit, look at that. And he's got so much paint in his robot mode as well, seemingly.
Yeah.
Damn.
That's pretty impressive. I don't know which of these I prefer to have, to be honest, because they all look great.
Actually, one problem. What's my one problem with this figure, Big D?
Is it the arms?
No, it's not. It's the name.
Oh, Dead End.
He's not Dead End. He's Wild Rider. He's in Wild Rider's colors for some reason, and they went, he's Dead End. I don't know why. My brain didn't fucking click on that until I scrolled down to variations and I saw Dead End 1986, Dead End 2004, Dead End 2015 and 16, and I was like, what?
Wait.
Yeah, I was like, what? Then scroll back up and went, you bitch, you liar.
Didn't they go for his weird face, or where they didn't seem to want to use Wild Rider as a name?
It might have been one of those things where they just lost the license.
But Dead End was fine.
Yeah. I guess they had. Maybe you can't copyright Dead and End because it is here they've separated the words, so maybe Dead End.
Yeah.
Was legally okay, but Dead End was not, and Wild Rider was not. Who fucking knows? Copyright laws are stupid.
God knows, yeah.
So dumb. But yeah, all of these are bangers. The mold's not too bad. It's pretty interesting. Yeah. That's the last of the scouts, at least for part one. Now we're on to the deluxes finally. My God, we're starting off with a redesign I don't like. What I call a downgrade. This is RC, one of the 3 female bike bots. Wow, she has a very undead kind of face is what it makes me think of. Here's the thing, Big D. Okay, look at the head mold, right, for the RC figure. Remove her mouth area and just have the bits under her eyes and the bits on the very sides of her cheek. Imagine that's her mouth. That would actually look cooler.
Yeah.
Because it does look like the bits underneath her eyes are the top of her jaw and they've got some pointy teeth there.
It does rather, doesn't it?
I think that figure would look better if they took out the actual robot, quote-unquote, mouth face part. So it looked a bit more crazy.
This is one of the cases where you just wish they hadn't bothered. And this applies to a film as well, because it was so lazy.
They were barely in. The entire design is just weird. It's a bike with a sidecar, and at least RC is. She's got a sidecar. The bike mode's fine. I think the bike mode's okay. The sidecar's a little bit obnoxious, but because
the sidecar's only there so you can stand the damn figure up.
Pretty much, because it doesn't look like it's a. Doesn't look like it's a real sidecar either, because does it have a wheel? I don't think it does, right?
No, I don't think it does.
Imagine being in that sidecar. Yeah, imagine you've got like sparks flying up at you into your eyes, while the machine guns, which are also dragging along the concrete, are firing bullets or lasers.
Yeah.
A nightmare.
It's.
Is this figure standing up straight? Like, I don't really know. I'm looking at the pictures because I've never had this toy, and I don't know what's really going on with the torso.
I don't think it can stand up any straighter.
Yeah.
Because of how it's been designed. And this is how it was designed in the film.
Yes. So, for those not aware, imagine RC's torso. She has a normal torso, mostly, and she has two mostly normal arms. We'll just say that for the ease of explaining the legs. And then we have imagine the fire extinguisher arm from Iron Man.
Yeah.
Imagine you get rid of the fire extinguisher bit and you attach RC's torso to that. That is the best way and easiest way I can describe what her legs look like and lower body.
Yeah.
Is that kind of armature. It's a poor choice. She doesn't have real hands. If you look at her hands, she just has bits of the bikes that are forming. Oh, this is a massive downgrade from the previous one. And the previous one wasn't even like top tier.
That was better than this, though.
Yeah, it was a real robot. It had real legs, had proper arms, real hands. I'd say maybe this. I think this arguably has a better face and head sculpt. Because the other one was that weird shape.
Yeah.
I think that's the only good thing I could say. It's got a better head design.
Yeah, but that's still not saying a great deal because it's.
No.
I think this head sculpt is more an issue with how they painted it than anything else.
Yeah.
Better paint could do a lot for this, but it's. I don't like being negative, but
I do.
I genuinely loathed how they introduced RC, Alita 1, and Chromia in Revenge of the Fallen and basically killed them off in the same damn film. In fact, I think they killed them in the same bloody scene.
You know, it would have been more respectable to have fridged them, but we didn't even get them fridged.
Yeah.
At least they would have had story relevance if they were fridged. They were just taken out in one go.
Some sort of connection to anyone else in the film, but
to be fair, I don't think it wasn't the least. It wasn't the most egregious part of that film.
Oh God, no.
So it's just another hit on the list of many things that were like, what were you doing? I think the problem was conceptual. The problem started with this figure at the conceptual stages. And as soon as you had a bad concept, the toy is fucked because you're locked into that concept. The fact that these were meant to be like combined, I don't think the deluxes could combine, could they? I know the idea was they combined, but I don't think these ones could specifically. Oh my God, this got 2 recolors as well. Jesus Christ, why?
Yeah.
So from a red bike, not pink, red bike RC, it got redone into Rotor Wash. What a name. Rotor Wash Rumble RC. She doesn't even have a bikini on or a bucket of water and a sponge. I'm disappointed. This one's more pinky RC color. Wow, they really show off how fucking weird the arm is.
Yeah.
Ooh, yeah, that's an ugly arm. It looks even more... Okay, so the torso connected to the legs looks less messy, but the arms look way more messy.
I mean, the torso only looks less messy because of how they angled it for pictures.
But still...
Yeah, the arms look even worse.
The head's maybe better painted?
Yeah, I think the lighter shade of plastic helps things as well, and the fact they've gone for a bit of gold on the sides.
I still attest this would look like a pretty good Insecticon head if you blacked out the internal part of the mouth.
Or even just if they just applied a wash over the mouth section.
Yeah.
Darken it up compared to the rest of the silver.
Hang on, I'm gonna do it on screen because it's pretty easy to do, and I think it would look pretty sick to see. But yeah, I'm guessing you're not a fan of it either, right, Big D? This one. Do you like this one more or less than previous one? I know it's not a fun pill to swallow, but swallow away.
I think I probably do like this better than the other one.
Yeah. Why do you like it better than the other one then?
I mean, it's at least trying to do something more interesting. So you got gold that's been applied to the gas tanks that translates across to the chest. That same gold's been applied to the head, which helps with the design. But the fact that it's that pink instead of that harsh red, oddly enough, is helping all that. And the grey they've used for the sled is a nice change from the harsh black it was in before. But then because it's grey, it feels slightly cheap next to the glossy plastic they've used for the bike itself. It's I mean, this with the sled from the previous version might be better. Oh, that looks very sinister and lovely.
Yeah, that's the idea I had. I think that looks cooler, right?
Mm.
There we go.
Yeah, that does look better.
Yeah, I think it looks fun. It looks really evil. I'm down with that.
So we had this one, and then they redid it for Dark of the Moon?
Well, it's such a good figure, Big D. Why not release it one more time with an even worse paint job for the head? Why? Oh,
well, this is when they had no budget, dude.
No, that's not it. Look at it closely. It's translucent. That's why it looks even worse. It's translucent. Oh, you little silly sausage.
Oh, God almighty.
Oh, you little what's-it. How dare you? If you can, translucent it. Why? Shh. No more questions. No more questions. I think we can say which one the worst is. It's the translucent one.
Yeah.
What a win.
And it's not just the head, it's the entire... Everything red is translucent.
Yep.
Why?
And they've changed the black to a gray plastic. Not super light, but still a pretty light gray compared to the black. So it's like, okay.
Then the sled has been cast in an even lighter plastic than
it
was before.
And it's not painted because it was painted before, and this one isn't. This one's just flat gray. It's like, wow. I'm sure it was part of a 3-pack. Is that right? Let's check. This figure was available exclusively at Target in 2015. It doesn't say if it was part of a 3-pack.
No, it doesn't look like it. It looks like it came with a comic, though, which I don't remember seeing that.
Neither do I, actually. I wouldn't be shocked if it came with something, though. Yeah, that's not good. Exelhead says, re-release the RC triplets, Hasbro. Really? And give us the actual third bike mode so we can finally combine them. Have they never been able to combine toy-wise?
Oh, that's right, because Elita 1's always been repainted into Chromia.
Oh.
But they've never done for 3 individual bikes.
Oh, really?
2, and then the third is a repaint of one of them.
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay, so I wouldn't care about it, but no reason they couldn't do that for the Studio Series then, right?
Except for when they did from the Studio Series, they didn't.
Well, they could always do it again. Like, do the one that they've never done a unique mold for, I mean.
Yeah.
I mean, they're doing IDW for the Studio Series stuff now, so who fucking cares? It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Nothing matters. Next up, we have Blaze Master, who has really weird hands. He has chicken legs and is a helicopter man.
Nice clean helicopter, though.
I never had this figure. Oh, no, that's gold plastic, potentially. Is it gold plastic?
Yes, it is.
I thought so. Okay. Oh, dear. Well, oh, sorry, Big D. Did you say you had this one or you didn't have this one?
Well, I don't know if I still have it or not. I know I have this mold somewhere, and it was in one of those job lots I tend to pick up, so it was missing, like, the rotor blades. But the chopper was quite nice and clean. But the robot mode did feel weird. But he got points for at least having an interesting transformation.
What do you mean when you say weird? What exactly felt weird about him? Do you remember?
I think it was mainly the arms, because they were just because they have the rotor gimmick inside.
Oh, does it spin the helicopter blades?
Yeah.
Ah, okay.
It just, and they've got, and like I say, my one was missing the blades, so that it didn't really do anything. It just made this. You push it and it goes wee. Yeah, but he's got a lot of mass in the arms, and that makes it awkward.
I'm not like looking at this picture. Obviously, it might not be transformed correctly because it's TFU. I'm not exactly sure where his shoulders are. Like, because it looks like he's got these big like gold plastic hands that go to like a tiny fist-sized bicep, and then go effectively inside his torso. So I don't know visually where his shoulders are, if you know what I mean. At least in this picture.
I think that tracks.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, that is weird.
Yeah, I remember thinking his head should have been set lower to make it work, because they weren't averse to doing that, having heads set really low down in the torso to make the arms a bit more proportional. Yeah,
this one doesn't seem visually very good from a visual standpoint. Simon Tang says it has a play feature. It's kind of fun. I had the orange and white version. I assume you mean Blaze Master and his redo into Evac?
Yeah.
Evac. Well, that's a better color scheme. It's not gold plastic, I expect as well, right?
That's
I can see where his shoulders are now. Oh, I can. This one looks like it. Either this one's been transformed better, or because of the plastic and it being orange, it's able to photograph better than the previous one.
No, they transformed it better because.
Oh, okay.
Blaze Master, they haven't moved. His torso's not been transformed correctly.
Oh, you're right. Yeah, the entire torso section's not done. Huh.
Yeah.
Wow. All right. So Evac, a more fair look at how his robot mode should look, I suppose.
I mean, he's basically Blades, G1 Blades.
But without hands. And blades if his hands were cut off.
I mean, his blades with the actual gimmick he was supposed to have in the toy line of having his blades on his arms.
But obviously they never did.
Yeah. But it always cracked me up how they always described him as like he uses blades to chop people up, and it's like, how is blades on his back? How's he doing this?
Turns around, wiggles his bum at them, they explode. I think this one's nicer visually. Obviously, it helps that it's not gold plastic syndrome, so that's always a bit of a boon, I'd say at the very least. He was also done at... Sorry, were you going to say something?
I was just going to say, I'm not sure if I'd rather have had him in Cybertron Evac colours.
Oh, okay.
That would have been quite nice. But this does work as a nice repaint.
What do you think of Tail Whip, though? The Japanese quote-unquote police helicopter?
Ooh.
I think it almost works in helicopter mode. I don't think it works in robot mode too well. I think there are, oddly enough, a few too many colors going on. We got blue, gray, black, white, yellow, purple.
Yeah,
and
blue,
silver.
For blue, I think's what really lets it down here, to be honest.
I think it might be the translucent purple windows, because it doesn't match with the rest of the colors.
Yeah.
You know, this is meant to be a quote-unquote police helicopter. I get he's meant to be quote-unquote evil, but I don't think purple works well with the, these colors that he's meant to be.
Yeah, translucent blue might have been a better option. A dark, smoky blue.
Maybe the idea is, well, he's a Decepticon, so he can't have blue because that's an Autobot color. But then it just doesn't tie together visually. So just use the blue. I don't know.
Yeah, it's weird. And it's a shame because
the helicopter does look okay, you know?
Yeah. I mean, for robot mode is almost there. Just
not transformed correctly again, right?
Doesn't look like it, no.
Oh my god. Maybe Evac was the only time they got it right. Let's check. Let's check Protect Bots Evac Squad Protector Bots Blades. What a name.
AKA, we used his color scheme on the other Autobot.
Except, no, they didn't. Look at it.
No, they used Blade's color scheme on evac.
Oh, so I see what you're saying. Sorry. Yes.
Yeah, something much weird. Well, I'd argue a bit more boring.
Definitely boring. This is the color scheme someone thought of when they rolled out of bed in the morning. Went, shit, I've got 5 minutes to come up with the color scheme. And they went, what if he was white? And someone went, yeah, all right. Yes, whatever. We're going to phone it in today, lads. Who gives a shit? This one looks a little bit more transformed correctly. I think only evac has been transformed correctly so far. This is a terrible color scheme. He's 90% just white.
Yeah, and then some big stripes of orange and a lot of blue.
A lot of blue. Yeah, this is not good. If you're gonna get it, I guess get evac. Would you even say get the mold, Big D? Would you say this is good enough to like purchase? Are there any virtues to it? Or is it just that weird feeling you have and you're like, yeah, I'll probably stay away from it?
I mean, in a pre-Combiner Wars world where we didn't have Protector bots being re-released, I'd have said get evac as your blades. But nowadays, I don't think it's not even a particularly. I wouldn't even say particularly interesting. I mean, the alt mode's quite nice and clean for a chopper, which is not always a given, to be honest, especially given the how much of a gimmick there is for the rotor mechanism. So, I mean, if you see one cheap and he's complete, because that's the key thing. Because for those rotor blades, do not stick around, from what I've seen.
I mean, kids, I was the same. If I had those rotor blades, it would have vanished as well. I will throw out something about evac that I don't like in the helicopter mode. It's the if you look at the helicopter mode, you have the blue window, and then you have the yellow stripe that goes back, but then it hits the next window, and the yellow, the orange obviously just stops and doesn't fade out to where it should disappear off to. A little bit sad. I get it. I understand because it's a separate panel. But we've talked about this before when we've seen figures do this, and like a pattern just awkwardly just is cut off. And this is another example. So
yeah, bit of a shame, man.
Yeah, not surprising, but definitely a shame. Next up is Braun, who's a redo of Reveal the Shield Fallback.
Fallback's the repaint of Braun.
Potato, I suppose. Whichever.
Yeah.
This is one I hadn't had. Skinny feet, big shins, maybe a bit of back kibble.
I have both color schemes of this guy.
Oh, good. Okay.
He's weird because basically, the sides of the car basically fold up to become wings.
Well, like a cape kind of thing on his back.
Yeah, but they stick quite far out, and it can be hard sometimes unless you fold them a bit forward, but they don't stick quite flat against his torso. So he has basically a bit. He's not hollow, but where he doesn't really have a backpack, so to speak, he has a gun that you can fold up onto his shoulder, and then he has these two armatures that just have the sides of the side panels doors of the car on.
Do they weigh him backwards? Do they like pull off his center of gravity? Does he fall over? Kind
really.
Of thing?
They just anytime you have him in hand, you think, I wish these would fold up a bit closer.
Yeah, I know what that feeling's like.
I mean, otherwise, he's actually really nice to mess with. I mean, the way he transforms, the guns, his handguns, actually stay in his hands for transformation.
Okay.
Because they form the bed of the alt mode.
Oh, that's fun. That's always nice when they integrate the guns a weaponry like that. That's cool.
But when you transform him, you don't have to put them into his hands. He's already got them.
Yeah.
So he's twin gunning right off the bat. The head, for everything, his head like a tactical mask.
I like the head sculpt. The head sculpt's really good.
Yeah, the head sculpt's fun.
Yeah.
The over-the-shoulder cannon is funky because it literally, you can see on the alt mode, it basically it folds up.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And it's on an arm that ends up, because basically the gun flips over from where it is.
Right.
And then the armature can be moved to rest over either side of the shoulder.
Ah.
So it doesn't lock in place, but it gives you some options there. And
yeah, a bit of playability, right? That's fun.
And he's really posable, even though there's no ankle rockers. He's got quite nice movement in the ankles forward and back, and the joints in the legs and the arms are really nice.
Well, I'm happy to see he's got like wrist rotation as well, which is not common. No. And he has normal hands, which again, for this line, not super common to have normal robot hands.
Absolutely. But he poses like an absolute champ.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, at some point, I really need to dig out all these nest type figures I have.
Is that a double elbow joint as well, or is it just a single elbow joint?
No, I think it is a double, yeah.
Wow, that's pretty nifty.
Yeah, and I think that was all due to the transformation.
Sure, yeah, I'm sure it is, but the fact it's there,
still nice to have it. Yeah,
yeah, 100%. It's like, the only thing that maybe looks a bit faffy is on his thighs. You can see on the hinges on the side. It's like that's where his doors are for the side of the car, and they're just a little bit awkward placed. You know,
they're a little awkward, but it ends up working.
Sure,
it's just one of those things.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, he's not quite a shell former to get to the alt mode, but he's almost. There's more going on than that, but you could easily dismiss him as being one because of. But it's quite fun. Once you got your head around it, the transformation's quite fun to do. Everything goes together quite nicely. Once you get the panels locked in, it looks good.
Do you see he's got a face on his groin?
Yeah, he does.
Do you see he's got a face on his chest as well?
Yeah.
He's got 3 faces. Would you have preferred this figure? Oh, yeah. Would you prefer if this guy had a bit of a brighter G1-ier, let's say, color scheme? Because he is like a very, very, very dark green.
Yeah. That's a tough one. I mean, as a movie version of Brawn, I was happy with it. And for a while, I thought this was going to be the only Brawn in my collection. I didn't think we were going to get a decent one after this. And we've had, I'd say,
a couple.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But this worked. I'm surprised it didn't get more than one repaint, but.
Yeah, it looks like it would be something that they'd finagle around with at the very least. And fallback, maybe. I think I like the color scheme on fallback a bit more, to be honest.
It does pop more. I'll give you that. That brighter palette does make some stuff about it work a lot better than it did on Brawn, to be fair.
Yeah, he's kind of Ushapti Bone Screaming Skull kind of whitish cream color, and it kind of works as a nice desert color. And then he's got like brown on his chest. It's like, oh.
I mean, my only criticism would be I'd almost have preferred him to have had an actual desert camo going.
Yeah, that would be nice.
But I don't mind that he doesn't.
Yeah, I think there's just too much. Well, is there too much paint on the inside of the robot mode? It looks like there's a decent amount of, an okay amount of paint on the front of the bumper. So maybe that's where it ate up some of the stuff. And then on his chest, he's got paint as well. I'm guessing that ate up the budget. I wish that...
Yeah.
Hang on. Does he have it? Okay, Brawn... I wish the window screens on this repaint were painted like Brawn's. Brawn's are painted.
Yeah.
This guy's are translucent and you just see right through. That's a bit of a shame, you know?
Yeah.
It's always a shame. Oh, this is Reveal the Shield. I was like, why is the Autobahn insignia weird? It's like, oh, it's a Reveal the Shield one. That's why. Forgot they did that weird thing. Yeah. Yeah, if I was going to get a version of this guy, I'd probably get Fallback. I think Fallback's a much more visually interesting one out of the two of them.
Yeah, he's a fun figure. I don't regret getting either of these, to be honest.
Okay.
Quite glad to still have them both.
XL Hedge says, I could easily have seen Brawn get a slight remold / repaint into X-Brawn. That would have worked actually quite well.
Ooh, yeah.
And it would have been a far less messy toy than X-Brawn as well, from what I've seen.
Yeah.
X-Brawn's a fucking... Jesus Christ, that's a messy figure. Bless him. Another figure that's visually a little bit on the weird side, but I kind of wanted at one point. I never got around to getting it, but I kind of wanted because he was weird. Was Breakaway, who was also either there was also a Sam's Club version for Sideways, Long Arm, and movie Rampage. So there was a few repaints of this guy. Big old hunchback Jet. I don't think this is in the image transformed completely correctly though.
I think it might be more the angle of the picture because it's a weird one.
I think he can straighten out a bit more. Like he still has a hunchback, but I don't think it's that much of a hunchback. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We'll see when we get to the other images because there might be a better transformed one later on, right?
Yeah. I mean, I don't have this one. I have the Thrust repaint. Thrust or is it Dirge? The dark red one, the remold.
The Sideways, Long Arm, or Rampage. Which one did you want to? Oh, no, that's availability. This figure was available in 2009. Oh, additionally, the brown variant was repackaged exclusively as a Sam's exclusive Sideways. Is that different then? No, these are the figures he came with. Okay, so yeah, sorry, the repaints were Movie Thrust and Crash Landing Attack Thrust. I just can't read. I saw the first ones and thought those were the repaints over the remolds, but no, you're right. Okay, so you have the Thrust version with the weird head, or the new head.
Yeah, the head that looks like he's cosplaying as a Crimson Guardsman.
His head is so low in his chest there. Holy crap.
It really is. It's one of those ones where, again, because I didn't get my version of this firsthand, it was a second-hand jobber. For a while, I had to look at Ben's World of Transformers to see how it transformed.
Yeah, it's a movie figure.
Yeah, but it's fun. I mean, there's some fun gimmicks like the cannon in his arm does have a little wheel in the ammo feed.
Oh, it's a Gatling gun, so that's fun. Yeah, I'm down with that.
I mean, it's another one where it's just a fun little goon.
Is it weird he has toes, like 4 individual toes?
They are a little on the disconcerting side.
Yeah. I'm glad they don't have sculpted in toenails at the very least. That's a minor saving.
Sometimes you look at these lines and think, I wish you could make your minds up as to how freaky we're getting, lads, because this is weirding me out.
Going bug or going human is not always the way. Just a simplistic design sometimes works better. It took them many years for them to learn that, though. Many.
Yeah. I will say, I think I probably prefer Breakaway's head sculpt just because he looks so innocent.
He does look slightly bemused and confused.
I mean, given he's based on an F-35 fighter, which is still one of the more advanced in the world, that's funny.
Oh no!
But I hadn't realised his head is fully visible in the cockpit, though. Oh dear.
No, I know it's so sad. It almost looks like he's screaming because of the way the head's molded as well.
And you can see it on Thrust as well, even though it's tinted.
Let's have a look. Okay, it's not as bad with Thrust because, like you say, it's purple, so it hides it a little bit. Maybe we should have just painted the windows because that looks really weird and strange. You know what? You know what this design is based off of? Tugs. Or Thomas the Tank Engine. What a weird design choice. It's interesting. I do like the jet. The thing is, I like the jet mode. The jet mode looks really cool. It's a really fun jet. You know, it's not an F-15, which is that's your standard Transformers jet, basically, because of the Seekers. And it's not the Raptor, which is for the movie design. That's the movie jet.
This is what they have tried to replace the Raptor with, the 35. Which
oh, really? In like real world kind of thing?
Yeah. Do you remember in the first Avengers movie?
Which part?
Where the Hulk's rampage inside the helicarrier, a jet comes in and hovers.
So I don't remember that bit. Oh, it was one of these, was it?
Yeah.
Oh,
it's
fun.
based on it because I think there are the 35's weird because there's like 2 or 3 variants of it.
Okay.
The Air Force, Navy, and Marines, and I think the Marine version, which is what we bought some of for the Royal Navy. That single large engine vectors downwards.
Oh, okay.
so it hovers.
Yeah.
And it gives it VTOL like a Harrier.
Wow.
Which I can imagine for a pilot must be butt clenching because that's your only engine. It's not like on a Harrier where it's multiple vents.
Yeah, because the vents like aim down, don't they? And then they aim back up to fly away.
Yeah, but it's two. It's
yeah, it's a few.
It's at least 2 vents, so it's not. If you lose one, you're not screwed. This is that's it. If that mechanism goes, you're. Yeah.
It was American designed, wasn't it?
What gave that away?
You only need one, Big D. Why would you need another one?
Yeah, but no, it is a nice alt mode. It's got a bit of kibble on the underside, as most jets do, but
it looks pretty clean, to be honest.
For a deluxe class jet, it is surprisingly clean. You do get a bit of the legs at the back, but not what you'd call a unnecessary amount.
I want you to consider, Big D, compare this to the Voyager Starscream from the previous movie.
Oh, this kicks that thing's ass hands down.
I meant specifically like undercarriage wise. It's like this has, again, I don't own it, but looking at the image, it doesn't look like it has. It looks like it has less than what I would expect a jet of this scale to have. And then you look at that Voyager one that we talked about last time, and that was awful. That was an awful jet, and this is so much cleaner.
It does a lot better of a job.
Yeah. Excellent.
I was just going to say, basically, if you look at the robot mode, the legs fold up. That's basically all you can see on the alt mode. Much.
Okay, all right.
A little bit of the arms, but not that much. Not compared to most jets.
XL Hedge says, Breakaway, everyone's favorite video game jet bot. Was he in the... Well, he probably was in the video game. I don't think I played Revenge of the Fallen.
I think he was in that game, yeah.
I think after the first game, I was like, I'm all right. And after the movie, I was like, I'm good.
Yeah.
I'm good. And Mr. White says, a bold choice for a new jet transformation. True. I wish the head was higher. Yes. Yes, I think that's very fair to say. Mr. White also says, Breakaway has seen some shit. Well, if his head's like the only thing in the cockpit, I'm not surprised he's screaming, to be fair. And then the only other version was the crash landing attack thrust, which was... Oh, it's the white thrust, the white and purple thrust. This is a cool color scheme, to be fair.
Yeah.
We had this before with the Beast Machines thrust, I think it was, and that was always good. Oh, the jet mode looks really cool. I like the jet mode in that color scheme. That looks really good. The robot mode's a little bit messy, but I think that's just because of how low the head is.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's neat.
This one's fun. I mean, this and the thrust together, you can give it a different name easy enough. And more goons.
Have you seen the Bumblebee that it came with?
Oh no.
It's Bumblebee, but what if we replace the black with blue?
Jesus.
And it's like, no, that doesn't look... That looks weird. That looks weird, really weird. And then Bumblebee's got, like, weird lightning bolt tampos on him.
What have they done to his face?
Oh, well, click off this story and go to the next one, because that's Bumblebee for Revenge of the Fallen. They gave him movie-accurate eyes. He looks weird and scary now.
You know what's confusing me? I was sure I had this bee, and I don't think I do now. Because was it this or Dark of the Moon where they did a bee where...
Do you mean Evil Black Bee, where he's red and black and gold?
For one where they actually replicated his axe in one hand, folding out one arm, and his cannon arm folding out and covering his hand up on another. I don't know. I'm not sure. But it was all integral and it's all deluxe, and it's one of the best Bumblebee figures I've ever had.
I'm not sure.
I was having a look through the list of bees and I couldn't see it anywhere, and it's bugging me now. Cause...
I will say visually, to me, and I don't know if this is true, this looks like it's a slight retool, and by slight, I mean he's got a new head as the concept Camaro from the last movie. Is that right?
Yeah. It looks that way, yeah.
Yeah. I will say the head is technically more accurate, but it is slightly scary. because of his eyes, his horrible yellow eyes.
He's seen stuff.
Yeah, he's thrown a bomb at Aunt May's house and said, "Finish it, finish it."
I'm trying to see if I can find this bloody bomb. I remember because I think it was Battle Mask Bumblebee.
Okay, from which movie though?
That's what I'm trying to remember because I know that he had a faceplate that folded down, but he still had his regular face. It was surprisingly tidy.
Okay. Well, in terms of repaints, this Bumblebee has been used for a pack, which was, this figure was available exclusively at Toys R Us in 2011. There were additional versions. Oh, that's a different thing. So this Bumblebee was in translucent plastic, at least from the knees down. And then his door wings are translucent. And to be fair, I don't think it works in the robot mode. The robot mode looks a bit of a mess. In the vehicle mode, they have the cool effect of him transitioning color-wise from yellow to translucent plastic with blue kind of swooshy lines. And there's a very distinct like white line going around it to signify like the changes happening. The effect works really well. I think that looks good. Does it work for the robot mode? No, not at all.
No.
This was a figure designed for the vehicle mode only.
I found the bee I was thinking of.
Oh?
It's from the Hunt for Decepticons subline. It's Battle Mask Bee.
Oh. Okay, I guess maybe that'll be one we get to next, I guess?
Yeah.
I don't know. Next part.
Probably, yeah.
So that was... Which Bumblebee was this? This was Mission Earth, the Scan Series Bumblebee. Oh, well, that makes sense. Next one is Alliance Bumblebee, which is Bumblebee. What's the difference between these two? Oh, they've changed the gray plastic for black. So he's barely different. Is the car mode different? Oh, the car mode's a little different. They've changed the black stripes on the car mode, and they've given him a nest tampo as well, it seems like. It's not much of a difference, but it is...
No.
It's a minor difference. It's like when in some video games where you have a very slight palette swap, and it's only a very slight palette swap. That's what this is. Don't think there's much to say about it, to be honest.
No, the eyes just pierced the soul, though. Jesus.
Yeah, and then there was the blue weird Bumblebee that we already kind of looked at, and it's still weird. I don't think this is great. The previous concept Camaro Bumblebee was already good. I guess they just looked at it again and went, "Fuck it, just new head, that'll do."
Seems like
it's fair enough. Next up, we have Chromia. Oh, good, another bike. I think this time has a little bit of a better face, but I ask you, Big D, why does she have a Dick Dastardly mustache?
There are questions one cannot answer.
Yeah. Is RC meant to be Muttley? Is that the idea?
I'm more trying to work out why she's carrying half of her bike mode as an arm.
Because it's less for them to actually figure out how to transform into something that resembles a robot. That'll probably be it, I would guess. Cynical Andy would assume this. I think, compared to RC, she has nicer looking arms.
Yes, that checks out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's like me. That's like
we've said something nice about this figure.
Yeah, that's like Big D seeing a building explode and crumble into dust, and me like pointing at the bench next to it, going, "Well, the bench is good," and you're like, "Yep, that bench is fine. The building's fucked."
It's like we see a building get destroyed, and you point and go, "Look, Big D, that's a lovely view, isn't it?"
It is. Yeah, you can see the sky now. It's like, ooh, yeah. Well, it's not wrong. Yeah. The bike mode's, again, okay, I'd say. The bike's fine. Right?
Yeah. It's a clean bike. Give it that.
Yeah. The attack mode's weird, but whatever. Who cares?
I mean, at least it kind of sits better than that sled that RC came with.
Yeah, I was going to say, what do you prefer? Do you prefer the sidecar, which is just clearly dragging along the concrete pave, or do you prefer the I guess the gun rack. I think I like the gun rack more.
It's got a bit more G.I. Joe flair to it.
Yeah, and it's something that you can either have on the thing or have off the thing. If you want it on, it's just it looks a bit weird, but fair enough. It's just guns coming off the back of the bike rather than a weird sidecar.
And this one, the colours and everything don't offend me anywhere near as much as any of RC's ones did.
No, I'd agree.
It's a more basic transformation by the looks of things, because they've clearly done RC and thought, fuck that.
You think they did RC first and they went, fuck it, just make Chromia simple.
We are not doing 2 more of these.
No, 1 more, that's it. No more.
Yeah.
I don't know, because I've never owned this figure. Is the big bike part which she's holding, is that attached to her arm, do you think? Or is that a separate piece?
I think it's attached.
That's a bummer, if that's the case.
Yeah.
Because it would be much better if it was just a parts form part that you could just store on the side. It wouldn't help it would help the figure mildly, not massively, but mildly.
Yeah. But I mean, it's also the missile launcher, so
yeah. So this was redone into Hunt for the Decepticons Elita 1. This is a weird color scheme. They've done it in metallic-y purple, metallic-y slightly browner purple, black and silver and flat Hasbro gray, and then random bits of blue.
And some random bits of kanji.
Is it? No, I think that's Cybertronian. No, that's Cybertronian.
Oh, okay.
Do you remember when Sam had the glasses and was spazzing out in class? It'll be that nonsense.
Yeah.
This is an uglier figure, I'd say.
I mean, she and Chromia are definitely... I'd say they're much better figures to do anything with than RC.
Yes.
Just looking at the pictures.
I agree.
They aren't as interesting as RC.
For better or for worse? What do you mean by that? Yes. Yes.
Yeah. Let's just go with
yeah. That's fine. Yep. I think it's easy for me and Big D to say RC and Chromia, don't buy them. Leave them alone.
Yeah.
They had their time in the sun, and it wasn't a good time.
Nope.
Mr. White says, Elita 1, if Skeleton Eva Lynn had a kid.
Well, there's a vision for everyone.
I think they'd look a bit more attractive. I'm going to throw that out there. Then we have Movie Jesus, as he was known, Jolt, who looks like a little fat boy in these images.
Yeah.
It's not. It's the visuals, because he's got a big cloak behind him. It made him look fatter than he actually is. He's not, though. He's got a lady skinny waist. He's got an hourglass figure. I don't Sorry, what's that?
He's got some weird proportions going on, though, this Jolt.
Yeah, I don't like the back windows poorly tucking under his shins. That looks a bit weird.
That feels like a bad time.
I don't really know what's going on with his arms. I think his arms look weird because he's got these little whip things.
But then they're way too short to really get what they're supposed to be. But they fold out and they just look sad. Yeah.
Yeah, they look like 2 bits of string. The light blue string that you can find on a beach sometimes.
Yeah.
It's when you look at the standard thing, you're like, oh, these are going to flip out and be really long and like touch the ground. It's like, that's not the case. Do you think it's weird that are his feet mistransformed? Because if you look at the front of his foot on the left-hand side, you can see the peg that would peg into the other side of the car mode. And I don't think you'd want to have that as like a foot part, because that seems like you're attempting to break it. It'd probably be fine. Probably. But it seems odd, again, as a choice.
It does. I don't think I've ever seen anyone use that particular, rest thing on the floor like that. Hang on, just seeing if I a better picture anywhere.
Is Jolt better? No, Jolt's doing the exact same thing. He's standing on the peg that pegs into the car mode, or the other part of the bumper. That's, I guess, part of the design.
Yeah.
That's a very weird choice.
I found another one that someone's selling on eBay, and that's got the same configuration. That is really weird.
That is not the choice I would have made. It's probably fine, but I would not want a peg being used as the main purchase for the figure's balancing thing. It also makes the foot look weird because it kind of shifts it. That's odd. His car mode looks okay. Generally, there's a bit too much translucent plastic for my liking, I suppose. But
I mean, it's cute that he turns into an electric car. Bit on the nose, but yeah, he was never most. He was a plot point in search of a alt mode in the film. Really,
yeah.
They needed someone to electrify Prime at the end, so they shoehorned him in as best they could.
And that was it. I don't think he was even called Jolt. I don't think. Maybe he was. He didn't have a lot to him.
No.
And his repaint is less blue, but still on the blue spectrum. We've gone for more of a pearlescent kind of purplish, bluish kind of color. Translucent, purplish, bluish as well. I don't really know what they were doing with the vehicle mode because they've got one consistent blue going through it to the back end, and it changes to a different blue out of nowhere, and then has a flame/lightning tamp on the side of the car.
That's so bizarre.
It's again another weird choice because he's got this toffee brown, caramel brown on his biceps and then around his neck area mostly, and that's about it. So again, it's weird placement.
I mean, that color they've used on his feet and the back end of the car is what becomes his feet and shins effectively. And there's some of that on like the casing around the translucent on his chest.
Yeah.
So I get why they've gone for that, but it just makes the alt mode look really unfinished.
Oh, I know how to describe the color. The color that we're talking about here is the color of the female car in Cars. Whatever that female car is called. That one. You know it.
I've tried to scrub this one from my mind.
Did you not like Cars?
They were fine.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not a big car proponent. Don't worry, you're not going to insult me. It's very much a Pixar movie when it felt like it didn't care quite as much. Personally, in my opinion.
It's a fine... It's two good Pixar movies, but everyone really wanted them to do The Incredibles 2 much, much sooner.
Yeah, but The Incredibles 2 was anus. The Incredibles 2 is the first movie again, but what if it was just with Mrs. Incredible who's retarded? It's but she was smart. She's not a dumb character. It's like, nah, she is now.
That's because they made it 15 years after the first film and 10 years deep into the MCU where all the tropes have already been done. So
was Incredibles 2 before or after Toy Story 4? It was after, right?
I think it was after, yeah.
Yeah, and that was another fucking terrible movie. It's like, stop.
Yeah.
You can't do movies at the moment. Stop embarrassing yourself. Either way, Jolt, not that exciting. Bit of a weird one. His repaint's kind of a bit too close to his normal color scheme version as well, I'd say. And Exelhead says, wasn't Jolt created at the last second for the movie and toy? Would explain why he looks the way he does. If that's true, that makes sense. I wouldn't fight you on it. Are you telling me that Jolt was made for at the last minute because of the writer's strike and because people who were writing Revenge of the Fallen had no idea what the fuck they were doing? I mean,
Calcipree.
You know. Next up, we have Dead End, who was originally Sideways, but again, this is how they popped up in the list. It was a slight redo because he had a new head. This is actually Dead End. We were talking about Wild Rider earlier, and this is because he does have a Dead Endish kind of head and a Dead Endish mostly color scheme. But he is based off of the Sideways figure, who we'll also talk about after this one.
The only problem with his head sculpt is that it's a nice head sculpt. I do dig the Macho Man style shades they've given him. Same. However, my brain keeps reading that yellow as his eyes.
Yellow?
The yellow on the sensors.
Oh, on the sides of the head.
Yeah. Like he's a crab.
if you got the bits on the side of his head and you cut out the center and you push those bits together, it would make me think of. Do you remember in Futurama the robot that stabbed people? He went, ha ha! That guy.
Yeah.
It would look like him.
The further out the pictures come, the more that works. Because red blends more into.
Yeah, actually, from the really wide shot, he looks a bit like Bisque from the wide shot.
Yeah.
Wow, that's weird. What a weird effect. Ooh, thanks, Big D.
You're welcome.
This figure again also looks a little bit weird because he's got like I imagine it's a brownish piece that comes on top of the black hood to give the extension for the neck, which looks a little bit on the strange side. Clearly was meant to be Sideways because he was based off Sideways. Tiny feet. Look at how baby his feet are. There are women that would be jealous to have feet that small.
Very small feet.
Very small. I don't know how stable this figure was. I imagine when you put him into his chicken leg mode, because I'm pretty sure he was chicken legged, it was probably a bit better. But I did consider getting this guy a couple of times, but I'm kind of glad I didn't.
Same.
He looks a bit messy, I think, in some ways.
Yeah, I was always the way he has those two lengths stretches of his side windows just pointing straight up. So I don't think you could ever really do much else with them because of how he transformed. And I always just at the time it just didn't work for me aesthetically, but now just knowing that they're translucent, so they'd probably just
snap off.
Yeah. It's like no.
I'm not a big fan of how they've done the shoulders because I don't know if the dwarfs are in the right position, but the shoulders are the front-facing ball joint, which always I never like that on figures when they've got. Thank God they don't really do that anymore, but it always feels weird. I think the last time they did that I remember specifically was the Kingdom Rat Trap Legend scale figure, and I kind of brush it aside, going, "Well, it was a Legends figure, Scout size figure."
I like that on the Rat Trap because it mimicked some of how the original toy worked in some ways, but it just worked for that particular design.
I think it was fine. I just don't like how that shoulder design works. I think it's better and flow. It's more natural for the shoulder to be connected to the torso.
Absolutely.
But like I say, for that scale of figure, okay. For a deluxe, I don't think there's much of an excuse apart from it's a movie figure and who fucking cares? We're going crazy. Who cares? So in terms of redos, this has got more than I thought. It was done into Sideways, Super Tuner down, Super Tuner down, throw down Sideways. Oh my God, I can't speak. Sam's Club Sideways, High Speed Spy Battle Sideways. Jesus Christ, bro. And Movie Advance Dino. So you can tell that's from Dark of the Moon. But we'll go for Sideways first. This one looks a lot worse than Dead End. This one looks really... I forgot about his weird torso. And I forgot that the bumper, or the back bumper of the car, just was really super close to his ass. And it is. Forgot all about that. Yeah, this one looks weird. Dead End, much better. Car mode looks okay, though. That's fine. Any thoughts, Big D?
I've had to double check because for a minute I was looking at the repaints and I couldn't. My brain just wasn't reading any real difference to any of them.
Oh, let me have a look.
I've gone back and no.
Oh my God!
Shades.
Oh my God! Which one's this one? The second one is Super Tuner Throwdown Sideways. So Super Tuner Throwdown Sideways is, like you said, literally just a slight shade down. Is there anything else different on him?
I don't think there is.
I think his windows... Are his windows a different color? I don't know. I don't know. Maybe? Maybe they're a slight shade down purple? Okay. And then the next one... maybe that's... okay, in vehicle mode, that one has a tampon on the window screen for a fake bullet hole, and then it has like fake tampon bullet holes on the side of the car mode. Robot mode? Ooh, that looks the same as the previous one. Okay.
Uh-huh.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Okay, the oh God, what's this sideways called? Is this the Sam's Club?
Target sideways. That's Sam's Club for one of the
that's
bullet
Sam's
holes.
Club. Okay, so the high-speed spy battle sideways looks a bit different. Does he? Yes. Yes, he's got a little bit more red on his arms, and it seems like a few more of his joints have red on them, and he's got red fingers. This one seems the best of them so far, because he doesn't like his waist area and his tummy area on bright red. They're black with silver paint highlight and then a bit of red paint highlight. That looks way better.
But they did use a lot of that brighter red as a plastic instead all over his joints, which
I don't mind that just because it breaks it up. It's probably not movie accurate though.
And the translucent red is nice, and I do like the fact they've gone over his head sculpt basically with highlights, given extreme highlight in mithril silver.
Yeah, they did it with like a darker gunmetal silver, but with the mithril silver, it really pops more. It's really, really obnoxious in your face, these details. So that's much better. Yeah. And the Dino version is... What if he was red, Big D? Yeah. What if he was red? It's okay. It's better than the original one.
Yeah.
I think the spy battle is the best version, and then Dino is the next best version. Well, no, Dead End. Dead End's the next best version, and then Dino's the last best version. I'll go with that. What about you, Big D?
Yeah.
Where do you go? You agree with that?
I mean, I'd say Dead End.
Oh, Dead End's your favorite.
But then the Target one with the translucent red on the windows.
When you say the Target one, is that the high-speed spy battle sideways? The one with the mithril highlights.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
And then the Sam's Club one with the bullet holes and then Dino.
Okay, that's fair.
And the others are basically... You could get confused as to which one of those you're buying.
Yeah.
You get confused to which one of those you're selling.
Yeah. Just release the same figure, I guess, man. Mr. White says, where's the hip car parts on the red jointed sideways? Let's which one's that? The red, I think that's the spy battle one, right? Where's the hip skirts? I think they're these bits on the side of the cankles. I think it's there. I think that's where it's meant to be. Mr. White says maybe it was a transformation improvement. I doubt it. I think it was just a basic repaint. I'd be surprised. Unless you mean the website transformed it more correctly, which again, could be the case. But let's move on from sideways because it's not a great figure. Then we have slightly strangely faced Dirge with a weird arm. I don't think this was the original version of the figure, but I can't remember. Is this a Harrier jet? You know jets. Is this a Harrier? Hey, what a guess. Okay. What do you think about Dirge then? I do honestly think his head is very strange. Stranger than most Dirge's thrusters.
Yeah. I mean, it's clearly aiming more for Armada. Was it Thrust in Armada?
I think it's aiming more for a cone head, just a standard cone head. Because he doesn't have the thrust from true. Armada face, and he doesn't have the nose cone doesn't look like a. It's not just the front of his jet because that's on his other arm.
True. I mean, I do like that at least it was trying to be a bit different in how it was doing things. Having the arm, the cockpit be on one arm, as opposed to being what we'd expect from a jet former. It's limiting because you can't actually do a great deal with either arm, to be fair.
No, they're guerrilla arming, unfortunately.
Yeah. But you do get 2 missile launchers, which do plug into slots. Because I know there's one on the cockpit, but I think there's also one on the panel on the side of the other arm.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I see.
The colors on Dirge are... It's a nice implementation of G1 Dirge, but into a movie-verse color scheme. Even if it's not the sort of jet we'd normally see him as. I especially like how it looks in the jet mode.
Yeah, the jet mode's really nice.
It is another quite nice and clean jet, in fairness. Not totally a Harrier jump jet, but it's used a lot of that DNA in its design.
Yeah.
So I like that. I have the repaint of it as Jetblade.
Oh, okay.
And at the time, I couldn't pick up. Dirge wasn't really... I don't think this figure was particularly widely available anywhere, to be honest. Either version. But I picked up Jetblade just because it was cheap one day on eBay. So, and it's a decent little grunter game. Nothing fancy. It's fairly stable in the feet, even if it's a bit limited in posing options because of.
Oh, he's got big flat feet. Okay, I see. I like his chest because it's very original Seeker design because he's got the little bits on the side of his head. He's got the little nipple turbine things. It's got a faux cockpit in the center. That's nice.
Yeah.
I just really hate the head design. The head design makes me have like the leader from Marvel vibes. You know when he had the broccoli head?
Yeah.
It's like the broccoli head, but then he's added like this weird wig on top of it that he's pretending is his hair. It looks really odd to me visually. And then if you look at the close-up of his face, the actual face design is weird because his mouth protrudes outwards. And then I guess the thing slightly underneath there is like a lip mouth that goes and connects to either a chin or to like a goatee beard, but I'm not quite sure. Then he has really raised cheekbones, a really raised nose, and then a mono eyebrow.
Yeah.
All in all, a very weirdly designed head. Visually.
It's like someone said, he needs to have some facial details. And someone else said, which ones? And the other guy said, yes.
All of them. Give them all to him. What do we have here? Exelhead says, I gotta say, there's a lot more Stunticons in Revenge of the Fallen than I remember. Yeah, to be fair. Yeah. It also says cockpit, cone head, but the cockpit ends up on his arm. That too.
Yeah.
I think, to be fair, the cockpit being on his arm helps to make the Harrier jet look quite nice and clean. I do like this Harrier jet. I don't know if I preferred it on Dirge, color scheme wise, but this one's okay. I think Dirge had the nicer jet mode that made me think more of Skyquake from Transformers Prime because it's a similar blue.
Nice deep bluish gray.
Yeah, the only real difference is the yellow used on Dirge is more of a caramel color than just straight yellow like it is on Skyquake for not Skyquake, Dreadwing, whichever it is for Prime.
I mean, in fact, Jetblade's color scheme is fairly plain overall, just because he is
jet mode, yes, but the robot mode's much better color scheme wise. I really like the color scheme. I just hate the head. I hate that head.
I can understand that. Thankfully, though, they did seem to get that memo. At least the guys at BotCon did, because...
Yes, he got remolded not once, but twice. Yes, oh man, yeah, I forgot about the head sculpt for this. The head sculpt's way better here. Way better. However, I don't think the color scheme for what they class as Skywarp is very good.
Yeah, that Skywarp color scheme is... It's a bit all over the place, isn't it?
Yeah, and it's not because it's not Skywarp's colors, which it isn't. My main issue is it's way too white. It's white, and then a little bit of the torso has a tiny bit of black on. The hips, and it's only the hip joints have a tiny bit of black on, and then the biceps have a tiny bit of black on. Primarily, this is a very white figure, and this is really boring. He needed way more color on him. Also, no translucent plastic, please. His wing should have just been solid colored. There was no reason for that.
I'll say this though: the way they've colored the head on Skywarp in yellow with that silver for the visor and that red.
That's great.
Crest.
Love
that
it.
Feels really. That's like a really heroic character's head.
Mm.
And they've put it on a Skywarp goon.
I don't know why. It makes me think of like Mask.
Actually, you know what the paint layout on the torsos make me think of, though? Rick Hunter's Veritech from Macross.
Yeah, I could kind of see it. Yeah.
Those slightly angled red lines.
Yeah, what a shame. Because I feel this figure's almost there. Obviously, it's got the problem with the arms, but then it's just off with the color scheme. But it's got such a better head. Such a better head. And then we had Thundercracker, who again is almost there.
Yeah, I mean, for black, just plain black with that same head with the silver visor, I'm digging that.
That's okay.
Yeah, that military green with a really nice. Is that a silver around the camo pattern? Because I'm digging that. That works.
Yeah,
quite nicely.
I think he needed a brighter highlight color because this. What color is that? Because it's not burgundy. It's kind of a browny pink kind of color.
Yeah,
I think. Is that how you describe it?
Yeah, it's almost, you know, Bugman's Glow, the old dwarf flesh color.
Oh yeah, yep.
That with a little drop of, say, scorched brown or Mephiston red dropped in, or actually a drop of both mixed into it.
Yeah, it just pushes it in that direction.
Yeah.
It's like, again, I feel it's almost there with its color scheme. The perfect figure would be Jetblade with this head, and I'd be happy.
Ooh,
I think that would be the best combo, because this is, for a grunt guy, this is not a bad color scheme. Like you said, the weird purpley color scheme with the silver highlighting that kind of camo effect looks really good. And jet mode, it looks really fun. I don't know how effective this is as camo. And having the blue star with a little white line through it on the wings is quite nice as well. But then it's just so close, but just slightly off. Something bright, something poppy needed to be added to the robot mode just to really kind of take it up a notch.
This is one of those designs I would love to see Hasbro take another run at someday.
Yeah, that'd be interesting to see.
Yeah. Unlikely, I know, but we've mentioned it a few times with some of these figures, that they were just so close, and you just think, wouldn't it be nice if one day Hasbro could go? I mean, hang on, we're kind of on 20th anniversary period film.
Hang on, I've just tweaked the color scheme, and I think this already looks a bit cooler. Yeah, I already like that a bit more.
Ooh.
It's not perfect. I've literally just kind of messed with the hue. But that already looks a bit cooler to me.
Oh, I'm there for that. That works quite nicely.
Yeah, I don't think there's another one I can get with the hue. I mean, even just like that. You know, just bump up the saturation, do it bright green, and have a orangey brown kind of color. I think, again, that looks a bit nicer. You know, it's not perfect, but to me, it edges for a bit more of an interesting kind of pop color scheme than what we got.
Yeah.
As soon as I saw it, I just thought, I wonder if I can mess with the hue saturation just to tweak it from the original color scheme. And it's like, yeah.
I am liking what you're coming up with these.
I'm literally not doing anything that interesting either.
I know you're not. It just proves that there's no excuse for Hasbro.
Yeah, well, to be fair, this was fans thingy, fans club.
Yeah.
But same. Yeah, I know what you mean as well. That's the last of the deluxes for tonight. Now we're on to a really good figure, Big D. It's the Fallen.
Ooh.
The namesake of the movie. My question for you, Big D, Bigger D, is how does this figure stand?
Would the answer be poorly?
Yes. Why?
Are his feet floppy plastic by any chance?
No. Worse.
Does he have no thighs?
No, you were closer with the feet. What's the worst thing you can do with feet?
Oh, wait, they're splayed out, aren't they?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, God. I'm looking at those and...
So what does that mean? Do you know? Do you want me to tell you what that means?
It means there's not much surface area for
No,
feet.
that's not true because all of the toes are spread out nicely, so he has a good spread. He's got a good gripping onto the floor. The problem is, if I remember correctly, and chat can jive me on this if I'm wrong, I'm pretty sure this is right. There are springs in his feet to have them collapse together.
Oh.
So they close up. So as soon as you pick up the figure, the feet close.
Oh, that's a clever idea.
And if you want to get them to spread out again, you got to get your fingers in and then spread the feet out. Is that true, Chad? Does he have spring in his feet? I'm 90% sure that's what he do.
That would be annoying. That's
yeah. If you look at the robot mode, the vehicle mode, you can see like the back of the quote unquote jet mode, and I'm 90% sure that those are springs.
I can see the spring mechanism. Yeah.
Because I'm sure there was another figure that had this issue as well. Oh, it was it was another movie figure. It was the one that Griff got loads of. It wasn't Skystalker. It was a little drone character. We'll figure it out when we get to him, but I'll point it out to you there as well. But yeah, I'm 90% sure. Again, if someone wants to correct me, he has spring in his feet. Pick him up, feet close. Is there a way to splay them open? No, you got to do that manually.
Dang.
Also, just generally a messy figure. He's got weird elbows. You can see where the elbow joint is. It is not where your elbow joint is. It's off to the side, effectively. So he's got no actual elbow. When you bend it, it's just a big old gap in the arm, which is a bit of a shame, obviously. He transforms into a... I don't know. Is it more of a jet or less of a jet than Transformers 1 movie Megatron? Not the 07 movie Megatron's jet.
Less, because that one at least had wings.
That's true. But this one has a cockpit window.
But it also looks like it's supposed to have tank treads because of the design on the sculpting, which makes my head hurt.
Yeah, because they're not tank treads, but your mind your mind kind of tricks you into it. Yeah, 100%. Would this work as like a weird alien watercraft?
I mean, I think
like if his feet span, if they span round and round, almost like like propellers. Maybe I could tease myself into believing he's like a weird boat. Obviously, he's not. He's meant to be a jet as we see him flying around. But yeah, this is awful looking. Okay.
It really is.
Positive thing. Because it's not about his fucking awful hands, which look really weird as well in robot mode.
Yeah.
They look really weird. A positive thing. He has a very unique silhouette.
This is very true. He does.
His body shape is very unique, for better or for worse. The head design is not terrible.
Yeah, I kind of vibe with their design. It's another instance of a character. It's a waste of a great VA in a film.
Oh, yeah, Tony Todd's great. Yeah, rip Tony Todd.
Yeah. It kind of... I mean, the whole implementation of the primes in it was kind of weird and made no sense in relation to...
They didn't know what they were doing. So, Lorenzo de Bonaventura said the 13 primes, and Michael Bay said, I don't give a shit. Put it in. Who cares? Fuck it.
Yeah. If you want to try and find consistency between the live-action Transformers movie, may God go with you, my friend, because...
Good luck, yeah.
Yeah. But man...
What do you think of the energy absorption mode?
I mean, it's cute.
Little tiny orange bits pop out of his body. Like, oh.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Mm-hmm, yeah.
Yeah.
You can tell we're struggling to think of anything to say about this figure, really, because he's just not good. He's just not good.
And I hate being having to be negative.
I love it.
But it's just...
In terms of repaints, what do you think of the Target Fallen where he's very, very orange?
My eyes.
I kind of like it. It's got an interesting poppy look to it.
That gives it something in its favour, because I think the biggest negative about the movie design for Fallen is it's so dark and...
It's accurate.
It's accurate, but that's more...
That's the positive spin. It's accurate. It's like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
This, at least, because they swapped out a lot of the dark material for that bright orange, and it's a nice bright orange as well.
Is it me, or have we covered more orange Transformers on this episode than in any other episode?
I think we might have done, to be honest.
It feels very orange for some reason. That's not a bad thing, but
It's not.
This is a lot of orange Transformers in one line, with repaints as well, of course.
It really is.
Yeah, weird. Sorry.
Honestly, I think I prefer this take on the character.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's bright, it's poppy. It's at least interesting.
It's clearly meant to be like more of the IDW nod one, right? This is the one that's on fire. So how do we replicate that? It's just orange plastic will do, lads. Slap it on. It's like, yeah, like you said, it's more visually interesting. It's definitely not accurate, but it stands out. It's like, yeah, okay.
But you know what they haven't tried to do either?
What's that?
They haven't just slapped on translucent instead of regular
Oh,
plastic.
yeah, thank God. I'd much prefer the orange than just everything translucent orange.
Whoever does that at Hasbro design team, they must have got sick of him and bundled him into the closet for the afternoon whilst they just did this repaint.
It's shocking the Japanese didn't try it.
Hear him scratching at the door saying, but he needs translucent everywhere.
He's made of fire. Translucent plastic will work. Go away.
We've bought so much translucent plastic, we have to use it somewhere.
Oh, God. Yeah. And then we have a remold, which has a more accurate head, which is a mask, which then reveals from underneath his stranger face from when Prime ripped his head off. He also comes with a slightly bendy staff, clearly. And then he's in purple and baby blue, which I guess is his cold space. Oh, his hands are differently molded as well. Look at that. Huh. They're still weird, but they're not bitch-slapping hands anymore. They're slightly curled.
He can actually hold his staff this time.
Yeah. I do like the head. The head sculpt's definitely more accurate, so that's a knock in its favor. I don't know if there's anything else different apart from the hands. I think that's it.
Yeah.
Jumping back and forth between them.
I'd have sworn there was a version with more weird gubbins stuck on top of it, but I might be getting that confused with Megatron, to be fair.
You're not getting that confused with the newer one, because there is a new The Fallen that Studio Series did at some point.
Oh, that's true. There is that, isn't there?
So maybe it's that.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
The remold seems to have done the same weird boat mode in the same weird boat way it did. I think it's nice that you can give me your face, even though his face without the mask looks fucking weird. Looks a bit like Q from Dark of the Moon in some ways, just without the crazy hair parts.
I was going to say, look, it reminds me a bit of Sentinel Prime from Dark of the Moon.
Yeah, I could see that too. Yeah, when his helmet gets knocked off and he's like, "No, Prime, don't kill me." Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's a thing. A messy Transformer that doesn't really turn into anything. Yeah, well, that won't be the last time we see it. We've got Demolisher next, the guy Prime murders straight away, but he reappears later on in the movie. I remember when this toy first emerged, and I was like, what the fuck is this? It's the first of the Constructicons. He's the one with the big wheel on the bottom, so he's not the easiest to stand, and then he's got the big wheel on the top. And he's got the big shovel hands. And this was like a Voyager, and it's like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah, because balance is for nerds.
Yeah, they wanted to do I wonder which came first, whether it was this guy or whether it was the ladies. It's probably this guy and then the ladies, right? like RC and stuff. Probably, yeah, because I have a feeling they were like, we want the big combiner, so let's do the combiner parts first, and then go, well, yeah, we'll throw in the women robots too. Fuck it. So I guess a positive for this is he gets 2 round wheels, basically from 2 tank treads. That's kind of interesting. Fun. The excavator mode looks, from what I know of excavators, which granted isn't a lot, it looks like a fairly convincing excavator, right?
It's actually a pretty decent mode. I mean, the sense of scale you get from that ladder to the control cab.
Yeah, that's good.
That's actually very fun. I like that a lot.
Yeah, it's a nice extra detail that you'd... Well, that in my mind, I would only really think about on like metal die-cast construction vehicle trucks, which, you know, you just buy to be a truck for a kid. So that's nice. Yeah. But then you look at what it turns into and you go, what is this? What are we doing?
Yeah.
Did he get repainted? He did. He did. Shanghai Showdown Demolisher. What's the difference? Oh, he's white with a red head and Ushapti bone wheels. That's a bit of a weird look again, but okie dokie.
Yeah, doubly weird as Shanghai is where it takes place in the film, and he's in colours for his first toy. Movie repaints make my head hurt, Andy.
Well, especially when they have bizarre naming choices. But yeah. Do you have anything positive to say about this figure? Because I don't think I ever fiddled with it, but I definitely remember watching YouTube reviews at the time and being slightly baffled by what I was looking at.
It whelms me, Andy.
Oh,
I'm whelmed by it.
Very whelmed or mostly whelmed?
Nah.
Yep. I have a feeling that I think in its benefit, I don't think this was too complicated to transform because it doesn't look it.
No.
He's not Mixmaster.
Compared to a lot of the ROTF line, that is probably one thing in its favour. Because I had a couple of the other Constructicons, and some of those could get very
messy.
Yes.
I had Whips McCracken. I can't remember what his real name was. Do you remember?
I think I did as well.
Was that Scavenger or Bone Crusher or something like that? And he was meant to have the Pogo mode, but he never had the Pogo mode in the original toy.
Yeah, it was one of those 2 names, I'm sure.
Yeah, I only remember people calling him Whips McCracken, and that was it.
Pain in the nuts transform.
He was lame as shit to transform, and then like his the front. We'll get to it when we get to it, but I remember the front scoop. I remember that just pulling that off in the end because it's like, oh well, this is his back legs. It's like, well, that's not accurate. He has a pogo leg. You lie.
Yeah.
Why must you lie? Oh, okay. Here's a cool figure with some weird eccentricities to it. Bludgeon from Nest, the Nest line. So.
Yes.
The negatives about this figure are he's very slender in weird spots. And I also never liked his head. I got the... Oh, fuck. What was the company that did the upgrade kit that gave him the new head, the skeleton head and the new swords?
I've forgotten, and I have that same upgrade kit because I'm looking at my one on the shelf.
Yeah, because they did, like, headmaster upgrades for a bit.
Yeah, because I have their upgrade for hard head as well.
That's right. Whoever they are, that's what this is from.
God, why can't I remember? Because I spent so many years trying to find their stuff on eBay as well. So I should remember what it's called. Yeah,
but this figure is pretty interesting. He's reasonably fiddly in places, but not too bad. Not as annoying as some. The worst things about him, apart from the head and the skinniness to the arms, are his 2 swords were very bendy plastic.
They were.
And the nice thing about them were they actually had 2 sheaths for themselves. One for the tank mode. So in tank mode, the sword, the small sword, whatever the not katana is, the wakizashi, is that what it's called? The wakizashi, the smaller samurai sword?
Yes.
I think so. You would split the tank turret in half, and the scabbard would pop upwards with a kind of automorph gimmick, and you'd put the sword in and you'd put the sword out. That was kind of cool. That one I don't think ever really warped. The one that warped was the one that stored in the turret that formed the end of the turret, which was the big. That was the big one.
And that one you can kind of understand because it's
It's very long.
It's a big old sword, so having that not be bendy plastic was a big no-no for.
But I guess, yeah, exactly. They made it bendy plastic because it was so big and long, so just to be safe.
Which is a shame.
Third party helped with that, obviously. Thankfully.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, I know that there's some people have mentioned issues with like where the tank treads, because they're rubber, they have a tendency to degrade.
I mean, that makes sense. Yeah, I don't know how mine are, but that would be an issue. Yeah.
I've not touched mine for a while, so who knows. But for all that, despite the fact that it's got a solid waist skirt, I should say, at the front, and the big old hip guards, it's actually quite poseable, in fairness.
Reasonably, yeah.
Yeah, you can get some nice double-handed poses with the sword, which is, again, not easy to do a transformer by any strip. It's not a given. Which is kind of like the price you pay for those like spindly arms to get that motion, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But you know what? For the longest time, and honestly, even for today, for a fair few collectors, it's a really good depiction of Bludgeon.
Yeah.
Combining the alt mode of his inner robot and the classic Pretender shell to make a. And the things no one expected to see Bludgeon. He came right out of left field.
No, it was one of those weird out of nowhere, like Mindwipe, who we'll get to as well. He was another one that was just like, oh, that's a really? Oh, that's kind of good and works, huh?
Yeah.
Okay.
And the thing is, his alt mode, that tank, is a stunning tank mode.
This is what annoys me about the Studio Series Megatron tank. Like, you look at this tank, look at that tank. There's a massive difference in terms of quality. This is a really solid tank. Very solid. The only thing I wish it did is I wish the turret tilted upwards. That's it.
Yes, yeah. And honestly, the only reason that doesn't happen is because you got the sword blade running down.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. You can't do anything. It's got a little tiny machine gun in the top of it as well, which is really nice.
You have the 2 missile launchers on the side. They're fun.
Yeah.
The turret rotates quite nicely. Yeah, you have that chunk of orange on the front plate that's formed on the shoulder guards.
That's fine.
But it's not a deal breaker.
Yeah, it breaks up the green a little bit, maybe in a positive, maybe in a negative way. I think in a positive way, personally, but you know.
But you have nice patches where they've put spaced armor on the hull.
Yeah.
Which is not something you see on really any tank formers, to be honest.
No, not really.
And it's just a really solid tank mode.
Yeah. I love the fact in robot mode, not only can you store the swords where I mentioned you could for the vehicle mode, but he has 2 dedicated slots on his side skirt where you can put the swords as well. The only thing I don't like about the robot mode is I think the feet are bad. I think they're badly designed feet. They feel like they're always pointing inwards. Like where you'd want to have the legs straight, the feet don't sit completely flat. They point inwards slightly. There's just something that's just a little bit off about how they've been designed to attach to the feet. That's it. Or the legs.
Yeah, I think the feet are a victim of how the transformation worked, because they basically fold up flat against the bottom of the legs to fit under the tank.
See, I think that's partially it, but I think it's just how they were designed, because I don't think you had to make them look the way they did. And if you changed how they looked, you could probably still get them to look flush, but then be straight at the correct angles, if you know what I mean. Just that's it. That's my main issue. Just a bit weird, bit on the strange side. He got a couple of redos. He got Gigatron, which is Overlord for Bokon, with a head that I never liked. I never liked this head sculpt. But again, for the longest time, this was the only way to get a new Overlord.
Hell yeah.
This was the only way. And it's not like a terrible choice. The colors that they picked were mostly correct. It just came across as
in those colors. But...
Yeah, it's just it's just a little off, because like Overlord was not that color blue. He wasn't like pure deep ultramarine blue kind of style. The problem with the robot mode choice is it's a very slender Overlord. It's like Overlord, anorexic Overlord, which doesn't work super well, but you know. And I didn't like the head sculpt personally.
Yeah, it's a bit of an odd one.
But not a terrible choice. I just don't think the execution was great, is how I'd say. Then there was Generations GDO Megatron, which I did want for the longest time. Oh, this is a great example of how weird the fucking feet are. Look at the angle of the feet.
Oh. That's
more extreme than I remember, but
yeah.
I know my bludgeon has something that's similar to this, but not to that extreme.
Not that bad.
Yeah, wow. I don't know what happened here.
He needs to see a doctor about that.
He needs his legs, his ankles broken and readjusted. I think that's the only way to fix it. Jesus.
Yeah.
This, for those not aware, this is a G2 Megatron, sort of, inspired. I think the head mold's really good. I like it. It's very G2 Megatron. I wish there was a bit more pop to the colors in robot mode because there's maybe a little bit too much black for my liking for the robot mode. And the tank mode, they've rotated the turret around the wrong way for some reason for tank mode. Whatever. Okay. There needs to be purple camo splodges on him as well. That's what he's missing.
Yeah.
That's about it.
Is it a G2 Megatron if you don't have purple camouflage?
I'd say no, personally, but I mean, I guess the thing is, it doesn't really affect the robot mode, which is annoying as well, because obviously he was very green in robot mode as well.
Yes.
Yeah, but what are you going to do? I think it was an interesting repaint. I think it turned out better than Overlord, at the very least.
Yeah, and you know, at the time, it was a decent way to get a G1/G2 Megatron when there weren't that... He wasn't readily available.
No, because they weren't really pumping out a huge amount of G1 Megatrons, so they couldn't really be bothered to do a G2 Megatron, really. Mr. White says, Bludgeon's feet always felt like the last element designed, like they just ran out of time. Yeah, kind of. Yeah, I kind of agree. There's just something that's just not quite right about them. Yeah. Next up, there is Human Alliance Bumblebee. Human Alliance didn't, I think, get good until Dark of the Moon, but I guess this was our first kind of taste of it. I didn't have this. I don't think I remember seeing anything about it. What about you, Big D?
No, I didn't either. It was a weird line. The ROTF ones, they were they weren't a Voyager scale. They were just a separate scale in their own right.
Yeah, they weren't. Were they a mix between Deluxe and Voyager, or were they a mix between Voyager and Leader? I can't remember. I know the Dark of the Moon's ones were that, but I don't know about Revenge of the Fallen.
I think they were between Deluxe and Voyager.
Okay.
I'm willing to be corrected on that point, but that's how I kind of remember. I know the price point was weird because
it came with extra figures as well, right? Because didn't this come with? This one came with just a Sandwich Wiki figure.
Yeah.
Oh God.
Yeah.
Horrible Sam.
I mean,
God, look at his weird arms. Look at it. Oh, they've got the. Oh God. Do you remember? Are you looking at the Sam figure?
Lordy.
Do you look at the hip joints? They used to do Marvel Legends figures with these fucking horrific hip joints, where it's basically a universal shoulder joint, but you've put it in the leg for a hip, and they do not work. These are awful hip designs for humanoid hips. They do not work, trust me. I have a She-Hulk that has these, and they're shite. Dog shit.
I'm stunned by that, because that is absolutely shocking.
Are you very whelmed again?
I mean, I'm terrified by the face sculpt.
Oh, certainly, yeah. Mr. White says Sam looks like World Police.
Yeah.
Team Americas. Yes, I got the reference. Yes. I want to say that the Human Alliance Bumblebee's not transformed correctly because his boobs are droopy. I think the panels on the front of his thighs should be on the side of his thighs.
I think so, yeah.
I like the hand, the left hand. That looks quite accurate to the movie. That's a weird thing to say. The head sculpt's pretty good. The arm cannon's okay, but probably could be bigger. The car mode looks pretty good, and you can tell that Sam can fit in there to whatever degree.
Yeah. I like that you got the battle mask.
I'm disappointed that they don't show it off very well here in the image.
Yes, there is that.
Oh, here's the battle mask mode. Doesn't put the battle mask fully over the face. And one job, guys. One job. Maybe maybe it's spring related, and the reason they couldn't get it to stick down was because it was spring related. Maybe. I don't know. Additional versions of Bumblebee. Now, this recolors. This mold was recolored for Hunt for the Decepticons Human Alliance Bumblebee, which I guess is different from this Bumblebee. No, it looks the same. Oh, it came with a different... Oh, God. It came with a much worse looking Sam. Oh, my God. Look at the Sam. They haven't painted his lips. That's a good thing. But the eyes and the eyebrows. He also looks ginger. He also looks fat and lanky at the same time. That's bizarre.
And his... I want to find out who sculpted this and ask, have you ever looked in a mirror before?
Maybe they have. Maybe that's why it looks like this. You don't know.
Do you know what most people look like? Because ain't that.
Maybe he's in a bell tower singing about how he wants to be out there one day. Who knows? Who knows? What a weird thing. So it's not much. Yeah. It's not really a repaint. It's just, do you want a better / worse Sam figure? Yes. Well, here's the repaint. They also did and was later colored into Dark of the Moon Human Alliance Bumblebee as well. So I guess it was just reused. Oh, this one's better transformed. Oh, okay. So the things on the thighs are in the right place. The boobs are a little less droopy, at least, but he's in the black, the kind of switched out color scheme. So it's primarily black and then yellow. Yeah. So it looks okay. That's fine. And they still don't show the battle mask down completely well. So I think there's just something weird with the gimmick then, right?
Yeah, must be.
Yeah.
It's weird because they had a deluxe be around this time that did exactly the same thing with no problems.
Click on the Dark of the Moon Sam wiki image.
Oh no.
Oh, what a great reaction. When you catch your mum and dad having sex. Oh no.
Mate, you have to use that in the thumbnail for this episode somehow.
I've already made the thumbnail. I'm gonna have to. I want to save this though because it's a quality image.
Yeah. Save it when we get to Dark of the Moon figures.
That's a man who's seen some stuff, some horrible things. You know what that face is? It looks like... Have you seen the meme of Lisa doing that face from The Simpsons? I've seen that meme with Lisa. Yeah, that's what it looks like to me. If you know it, you'll know it. I'll try my best to remember to use this for the next Revenge of the Fallen toy roundup. I'll definitely do that. So there we go. That's Human Alliance Bumblebee, and then we're ending on a banger. Maybe. I've never had this. Have you had this figure, Big D?
I have it and still have it. He's on top of one of my...
You can tell us all about it. This is Revenge of the Fallen Leader?
Yeah. Leader class Jetfire.
Leader class Jetfire. So he's visually... The head sculpt looks mostly correct, but I think body proportion-wise, he's not exactly what you'd call accurate.
Well... It's all in how you pose it, because...
Is it that?
Yeah, because they stood him actually up straight, and he's supposed to be hunched over.
Okay.
Because the head does pivot back enough, and he rests on his hand, on his cane.
Okay.
It's got some really nice strong joints in there, I'll give you that. You can't do a lot action-wise with him, because that's not what it was about in the film. But it's actually a really nice representation of the character. Bit weird because the fringes around his head are all bendy rubber.
That makes sense.
It makes sense. The worst bit is that there are parts of him, because for a long time I struggled to transform him into jet mode and to combine him with Prime, purely because I didn't have instruction.
Oh no.
Boot sale rescues.
Oh, I feel that this is a story that's already cropped up quite a lot while me and you have talked about Toys Big D.
Yeah, because this and Prime are probably the two most complex figures of the ROTF line and are kind of infamous for that fact.
It's interesting because his jet mode looks quite messy underneath. Like, it looks like there's a lot of, obviously the robot's stuck under there. Prime's pretty tidy when he transforms into his truck modes, and this doesn't.
Yeah.
I'm assuming this is made more complex because he's got to. Does he split apart? Does he split apart, or does he kind of fold around him?
He kind of folds around, but the really awkward bit is, if I remember rightly, parts of Jetfire are actually the connectors are elasticated rubber.
Oh
cable.
My God. Why?
Yeah,
but why?
And you have to use those to help attach them to Prime.
Okay. I
just remember it being, and it's an experience. I did the combined mode once. I did the transformation to jet mode once. Hell, I've transformed that Prime into truck mode. He's not left truck mode in about 12 years.
That's fair. Yeah.
Because I refuse point blank to even try it.
Is the combined mode that they've used on TFU accurate to how it looks when you do it correctly? Do you know?
Sadly, yes. It's not
really.
Yeah, it's quite. The problem is because Jetfire does have electronics in the torso.
Oh.
He has lights and sound.
Oh.
That means he doesn't. If he didn't and could just disassemble like a really big weaponizer, that would have been great, but he doesn't. Instead, he kind of, his nose cone, as you can see, it splits in half and hangs on Prime's shoulders.
Yep.
It's got on Prime's arms. The rest of him kind of attaches along the back of Prime.
Is he kind of almost hugging him around the waist and lifting his legs up? Yeah, okay.
Yeah, because the way Prime's designed, I mean, to be fair, they are both really well designed for how they clip together. Because they do have solid connection, but it's getting there because if you don't line everything up just right, you have to go back through and work out what you fucked up. And it's really not a fun experience doing that.
I don't know if this is true, but it kind of looks like Prime was designed to be a standard Transformer, and then they went, oh, let's make Jetfire combine with him. And then they had to work around like what Prime is.
Actually, you can see on Prime where that bit on his belly.
Yeah, that's like Jetfire hugging around him, right?
Yeah, that's a belt buckle. That is literally a belt buckle because you then have elasticated rubber straps.
Oh, okay.
They're on either side. That's what secures Jetfire to him.
Oh, I thought it was like two bits that almost like plugged together rather than it being a belt buckle.
Oh no,
and I didn't. Do. Oh well, either way, I didn't expect that's where the elastic bits were that you were talking about.
Yeah, but it's not fun, and those two bits don't really store very well in Jetfire's robot mode.
Whereabouts do they store in the robot mode?
I think they just hang off his back.
Oh.
If I remember.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Cool.
Yeah. I mean, like I say, the robot mode's got a lot of personality to it. I quite like that. The jet mode, whilst it does have a lot of undercarriage, is actually quite a nice. It's a hefty jet mode in hand.
Yeah, if you ignore the stuff on the underside, it looks pretty nice. It's pretty tidy on top.
Even the stuff on the side, you can kind of mentally, you can kind of just say, well, that's just Cybertron and weaponry and sensory gimmicks they plugged underneath it. Because it looks all skeletal and like it's been retrofitted in a way. I mean, yes, the top of it is a really nice clean SR-71. The undercarriage is quite messy, but there's enough there that you can kind of mentally go, oh, that's just because they've retrofitted all these guns and shit to the front of it, and that's for control systems.
Yeah.
Extra thrust and shit. The combination with Prime, we've seen it done better. We've seen jet mode Prime's done better in the next film. Just because that was also a much more well thought out take on that mode.
Mm-hmm.
It felt much more like they'd refined it as opposed to Prime cannibalizing Jetfire to give himself a power up, or Jetfire sacrificing himself to power up Prime. But yeah, it's a weird one, is Jetfire.
Yeah,
I mean, I don't want to say he was a waste of a leader for the line, because ROTF did have. I mean, it's a good figure. If you can find one and it's in good nick, and it's, I mean, good luck, because this thing was not cheap at the time. It was like 50 quid at the time, I think.
Wow.
Same for Prime. Neither of those two were particularly cheap figures for what they were. There's a reason Prime basically became the masterpiece Prime in Japan.
Yeah.
For a while. Yes, fine. It's a decent one. I think have we had a movie Jetfire since then in Studio Series?
I'm pretty sure there's been another movie Jetfire from Studio Series. Yeah. I'm not 100% sure, but I'm pretty sure we have.
I mean, that is probably a better figure purely because, like I say, this one does have a load of electronics in the torso. That's always a downside to a lot of these figures when they do that. But this, they do minimize how impactful it is on messing with things as much as they can. But
from what it sounds like and what you've talked about, it sounds like this Jetfire figure was hampered by trying to juggle too many gimmicks. Like he's got lights and sounds, which is obviously taking up a load of stuff. He's also got to combine. He's also got to turn into a jet, and he's also got to turn into this strangely shaped robot mode as well. So it's a lot to juggle. And that's definitely going to hamper, like most figures are hampered by less than that. So to do all that is not an easy thing. No recolors. Oh no, this mold was recolored into Burst Jetfire in Japan.
Yeah, I did do a search for it. I could find no picture.
Oh, maybe it's just Jetfire again, I suppose. I don't know. But Jetfire, strange gimmick juggler boy that he be. But that'll have to end us for this week. We've talked for 3 hours. I'll probably keep in the intro because we talked about Transformers there as well. So we've got a nice, decent show here. Big D, where could people find you on the internet if you want them to?
I'm on all the feeds as David Kelly. Please, if you want to try and find me, say hello. I don't bite unless people really ask me to. I'm over on ukanime.net as one of their contributors from time to time, and on the Fluff and Hammer, I host our Fluff and Buster show with Mr. White. I do the deeper dives with Mr. Gruff. I host our monthly watch along, which next month is going to be. What was it going to be next month? Chappie and They Live, which is a fun combo.
They Live's a great film.
Yeah. And Chappie's got a robot smacking Wolverine around. But yeah, that's kind of me.
All right. You can find me on Twitter, Twitch, and YouTube as Decayed Andy, Rotten Flesh of a Human Being. You can find me on, obviously on the Moonbase 2 podcast. Again, Twitter, Twitch, YouTube as Moonbase 2 Transformers podcast. We stream on a Sunday at 9:30 in the evening UK time. If you want to come on by for that, like all the lovely people on YouTube and on Twitch, thank you very much, everybody in the chat, for coming and talking to us. Exel Hedge also says, before we sign off, there are several fan modding for Jetfire's arms in combined mode to improve the silhouette. Oh, might be something you maybe look at, Big D, if you want to touch that figure again, I suppose. But you can also find us on the ccbunker.weebly.com, also there, and on the Moonbase 2 forums as well. So, again, what will be coming next week, I don't know. It completely depends on if anything interesting pops up in the news. Otherwise, we'll be back with Big D for part 2 to conclude out Revenge of the Fallen. So that should be fun. Once again, thank you, Big D, for joining me. And we'll see you next week, everybody.
See you, folks. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Yeah.